forever in the Shama. Kadash is your name. Your kingdom coming, your will be done on the Arat as in the Shama. Arat as in the Shama. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Give us this yam, our daily locum, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the wicked. For yours is the kingdom, and the power, and the steam forever. Yada, Yawa, Yada, Yawa, Yada, Yawa, Yada, Yawa, Yada, Yawa. Shama, Kadash is your name. Your kingdom come and your will be done on the Arats as in the Shama. Arats as in the Shama. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Give us this yam, our daily lakam, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the wicked. For yours is the kingdom, and the power, and the esteem forever.
Yahuwah. Yes. All right. So we are back for our second segment, Q&A. Also, I wanted to share something with you guys as well. Let me pull this up. I want you guys to see this. Let me see here. Where do I have it? It is right here. Okay. So I'm sure some of you guys probably seen this. Let me see. Is this the one? Hold on one second. Let me see what I have here. Yeah. Okay, let me show you guys this. Let's back this up. Now I gotta find where's the unmute part on this. Where is the mute button? I don't even see it. Where is it at? It said to unmute it, and I don't even see where the mute is. Hold on one second. I gotta find this. It showed it earlier, but I don't even see it. Where is the mute button? Oh, let's try it again. Let me go back. There it is. Agree.
Evangelist Joel Webbin posted,
Okay.
I genuinely
Let me take
believe
this
Trump
back.
is currently... Is Trump the Antichrist? That's a real question former Trumpers are asking.
Could this be the Antichrist?
Marjorie Taylor Greene said it. Evangelist Joel Webbin posted, I genuinely believe Trump is currently demon-possessed. That's easier to swallow than Trump's actual explanation for why he posted a picture of himself as Jesus.
I thought it was me as the doctor.
What? 3 key facts about Trump versus God. Number 1, Trump resembles the beast from the book of Revelation. In Revelation 13, the beast has a boastful mouth, demands worship, wages war, fights the church, puts his mark on everything, including people's foreheads, and suffers a head wound that mysteriously heals. But here's the thing. Many biblical scholars say Revelation isn't really about the end times. It's about the Roman Empire under Nero, a cruel, power-hungry narcissist who spent the people's money glorifying himself while ignoring their needs. Sound familiar? Trump doesn't need to be supernatural to be exactly what early Christians warned against. Number 2, Trump's beginning to lose the Christian right. It largely started with the Epstein files, which many evangelicals believed Trump would expose. Instead, Trump has continuously fought the release of the files and turns out to be named in them between 38,000 and 1,000,000 times. Then came the Iran war, which half the country believes Trump started to distract from his Epstein cover. Then Trump embarked on a wildly blasphemous Easter season, starting with his spiritual advisor comparing him to Jesus. On Easter Sunday, Trump posted a profanity-laced threat to commit war crimes in Iran. When the Pope called for peace, like popes do, Trump attacked the Pope, the leader of a faith practiced by 20% of Americans, and then followed up with the infamous picture of himself as Jesus. And what the hell is that? And it didn't help when Keith Hegseth apparently mistook a speech from Pulp Fiction for scripture. Number 3, Trump might not be the Antichrist, but Trump's policies are anti-Christian.
I'm all about the gospel.
Oh yeah? In Matthew 25:35, Jesus said, "Welcome the stranger," that is, people from somewhere else. Trump is deporting them. Jesus said, "Feed the hungry." Trump made the largest ever cut to food stamps. Jesus said, "Care for the sick." Millions are losing health coverage because of the cuts to Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act tax credits in the Big Ugly Bill. Jesus said, "Give to the poor." Instead, the Big Ugly Bill is giving a $2 trillion tax cut to the rich. Jesus said, "Blessed are the peacemakers." Trump has bombed at least 7 countries so far. It's almost as if the human embodiment of all 7 deadly sins isn't as tight with Jesus as he pretends. I'm Alan Piper at apiper13 and Piperama. Follow Courier Newsroom for the facts you need. Is Trump the Antichrist?
Okay, so
That's a real question.
wanted to share that with you guys. I see someone here said, Chebat, you said he a devil against the devil religion. He's a devil against the devil's religion. Well, here's the thing. Let me show you something here about the devil dealing with the devil's religion. Okay, because it speaks about this in Revelation. Let me pull up my other book here. So if we go to the book of Revelation, and for those of you who've been with me, we did a thorough study on Revelation 17 where it talks about this woman that's riding the beast. Okay, the woman who's riding the beast is Christianity. Okay, that's the woman. That's the mother church, the harlot, and the beast, of course, is Satan. But this is the part that a lot of people don't see. This is what they don't understand, right? Yes, Shaibat. So this is the part that a lot of people don't see. So here, at the end of chapter 17, check this out, Shaibat. And the 10 horns, verse 16 of chapter 13, that you saw on the beast, these shall hate the whore. Let's make it plain. These 10 kings, these 10 leaders, they are going to hate the Christian religion, the whore, the woman that's riding the beast. And they will lay her waste and naked and eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Notice who causes them to do this. For Alua Elohim did give it into their hearts. So he put this idea in their hearts to do his mind, to do his will, to be of one mind. These 10 leaders, to be of one mind and to give their reign, to give their authority, their power to the false Messiah until the words of Elohim shall be accomplished. So If you go back and you look at the, let's go here. Let me see. I don't know if I have it here. Let me see. Give me a second. I know I have it upstairs in my office. In fact, I can just look it up because I don't see it here. I don't have it here. Okay, let me pull this up. I want you guys to see this. The 3 world wars spoken by Colonel Maxwell. Or was it Albert Pike? I think it was Albert Pike. Yeah, Albert Pike. I don't know what I was thinking. Give me a second. Okay, let's read this. All right. So this one isn't the correct one. Let me get the better one. That's not the one I'm looking for. It only shows partial. I need the whole thing. Let's see here. Let me find it for you. This is probably the better one here. Okay, let's view this file. Okay, so let me read this to you all. So I have a copy of this. Of course, it looks a little different than what I'm showing you, but nonetheless, it has the same words, okay? Albert Pike, he was a 33-degree Mason, okay? This is dated back in August 15th. Notice the year, 1871. They talked about these plan for 3 world wars, okay? The First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati, notice this word here, to overthrow the powers of the czars in Russia and of making that country a fortress of atheistic communism. So they're already telling us about Russia going to become communism before they became communists. The divergence caused by the agent tour or agents of this group between the British and the Germanic empires will be used to foment this war. And at the end of the war, communism will be built and used in order to destroy the other governments and in order to weaken the religions. Okay, now we go to the Second World War. Must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between fascism and the political Zionism, okay, Zionists. This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed and that the political Zionism be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel and Palestine. This has already occurred. During the Second World War, international communism must become strong enough in order to balance the Christendom. This is talking about Christianity. That would be then restrained and held in check until the time when we would need it for the final society cataclysm. Notice what they're talking about here, what they're going to do to Christianity. This is what I just read to you. He has put it in their hearts to destroy the woman, okay? And the woman is Christianity. Again, here it says about in order to balance Christendom, which is Christianity, that would be then restrained and held in check until the time when we would need it for the final social cataclysm. Now, this is us right now. This is where we're at, okay? And why isn't it allowing me to go further down? Why don't I see the rest of this page? Oh, wow. It's not going to read it. Let me find another one. Man, thought that one had it. Why would it cut it off? Interesting. Let's go here. That one cuts it off as well. Maybe this one is better. Let's see. That one doesn't show it either. Wow. Are they scrubbing it off the internet? What's going on here? Let's see if this one shows it. Oh yeah, this one shows it. Okay. Let me bring it up. Here we go. So, just to pick up where we was at before, let's see how this one reads it. The Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between fascism and political Zionism. This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed and that the political Zionism be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel and Palestine. During the Second World War, international communism must become strong enough in order to balance Christendom that would be then restrained and held in check until the time when we would need it for the final social cataclysm. So now, the Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agentur, the agents of the Illuminati, between political Zionism and the leaders of the Islamic world. Okay, this is what we're seeing right now. The state of Israel, the Zionists, going against the Islamic world, which they've done for quite some time, between everything from Syria to Iraq to Afghanistan, now to Iran. Okay, they already took care of Libya, and so it goes. So the war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other. This is what they want. They wanted to mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economical exhaustion. This is what we're getting ready to experience. We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm that in all its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin of savagery, and of the most bloody turmoil. Then everywhere the citizens, this is talking about of the world, obliged to defend themselves against the world, minority of revolutionaries will exterminate those destroyers of civilization, and the multitude, delusioned with Christianity, notice this, and the multitude, because again, Christianity is the largest religion on the earth, will be disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirits will from that moment be without compass. They will have no direction, okay, from their leaders, their pastors, their preachers, or direction, and they will be anxious for an idea. But without knowing where to render its adoration, to worship, they will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer. This is when Satan takes the helm. This is what he's been wanting. This is what we read in Isaiah chapter 14. It will be brought finally out into the public view. This manifestation will result from the general reactionary movement that will follow the destruction, notice this, of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time. This, my friends, my brothers and sisters, for Allah Elohim did give it into their hearts to do his will, to be of one mind, and to give their reign to the beast, that is the false Messiah, until the words of Allah Elohim shall be accomplished. This is what it's talking about when it says that they shall hate the whore, lay her waste and naked, and eat her flesh and burn her with fire. This is what we're right now getting ready to see. All these Christians who put their trust in this Roman ideology of Christianity, they're getting ready to get it all snuffed out. Why? Because it's not of the truth. It has fulfilled its service. It has accomplished its mission, what Yahuwah needed it to do. And so when Christianity gets destroyed, and not only Christianity, but Zionism is going to get destroyed, and so is Islam going to get destroyed. So what's going to happen? Judaism is going to get destroyed, Islam is going to get destroyed, and Christianity is going to get destroyed. What all three do they have in common? They're considered the Abrahamic faiths. These so-called Abrahamic faiths are going to be destroyed, and this is when they're going to bring out the pure doctrine of Lucifer. It tells us this is going to happen in Scripture. This is why it says here, if we go back to Daniel, let's go to Daniel real quick. What does it say here? In Daniel chapter 11, I believe is where it is. Verse 36. And the sovereign shall do as he pleases and exalt himself. This is the false Messiah. And show himself to be great above every mighty one. Notice what he's talking about here. He is great above every God and speak incredible matters. That's going to be the blasphemies against the mighty one of mighty ones. Okay. Alua Alahim. And shall prosper until the wrath has been accomplished. So he's going to prosper in what he's doing by bringing out the pure Luciferian doctrine. That is until the wrath of Yahuwah has been accomplished, for what has been decreed or determined shall be done. And have no regard, notice this false Messiah will have no regard for the mighty ones, that is the other religions of his fathers, nor for the desire of women. Many people thought that the anti-Messiah is going to be gay. That's not what this is talking about. Let's keep it in context to what we're talking about here. Remember, it's talking about religions. He has no regard or respect for the mighty ones of his fathers, the ones that came before him, nor the desire of women. This is telling you that this woman represents a religion type of understanding, just like in the book of Revelation, chapter 17, the woman who rides the beast. Nor have regard for any mighty one, still keeping it in the same subject. We're talking about deities, but he shall exalt himself above them all. That's what this desire of woman. He ain't going to have no desire for any religion. The only one that he's going to want is his pure doctrine of Lucifer. Doggies, stop it. So this is what this is talking about. It's not talking about him being gay. That's not what this passage is talking about. All right. So it goes on and it continues on about this new teaching, this new Luciferian doctrine. It doesn't call it Luciferian doctrine, but you see what it says here. But in his place, he shall give esteem to a mighty one of strongholds, a mighty one of power, a mighty one of great authority, and to a mighty one that his fathers did not know. So this is a whole new religion. This religion. Because remember, it says that they will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer brought finally out. They haven't been able to bring it out. Satan has not been able to bring out what he wants to bring out right out into the public, but it's going to finally come out. He's going to manifest it. Yahuwah is going to allow him to do so. And so this is what it's talking about here. And he shall act again. Let me back up. And to a mighty one that his fathers did not know, and he shall give esteem with gold and silver, with precious stones and costly gifts. So he's going to erect this belief system, and he's going to put all the monies behind it, all the financing behind it, just like what we're seeing with the data centers right now. This is what's happening right before our face. Okay. And he says, and he shall act against the strongest of strongholds, okay, of all the militaries, of all the empires, with a foreign mighty one, with a strange deity, that he shall acknowledge. He shall increase its esteem and cause them to rule over many and divide the land for gain. This is the 10 kings. This is what we read about the 10 toes in the same book of Daniel. This is going to be the 10 kings that we read about in the book of Revelation, chapter 17. It's the same 10. It's the same 10. Go back over here. Let's read this chapter 17 again. What did it say here? And the 10 horns that you saw on the beast, these shall hate the whore, again, Christianity, and lay her waste and naked and eat her flesh and burn her with fire. They're going to destroy Christianity. This is why it's so dangerous to be in Christianity. It's doomed to fail. It's already doomed to fail. Why are you going to be in something where they have changed all the doctrine? They changed the image. They've done all these things. This is what Satan has done, and Yahuwah allowed him to do it. This is the great delusion. This is the strong delusion, the great deception. And so it goes on here, and it says again, for Aluah Elohim did give it into their hearts, that is to these 10 kings, to do his mind, to do his will, his desire, to be of one mind. They're going to be collectively one mind, and to give their kingdom, their reign, their power, their structure to the false Messiah, the beast, until the words of Aluah Elohim shall be accomplished. And the woman whom you saw is that great city, having sovereignty over the sovereigns of the earth. Again, for those of you who have been following me, and we've done a study on this, this is talking about a 3-tiered system. The 3-tiered system is not only of the religious order that we know as the Catholic order, but it's also talking about the financial order, which is London. And it's also talking about the military order, which is the United States of America through the Pentagon. These three, with their obelisks, their sun worship, this phallic symbol, the Washington Monument, the tallest obelisk on the earth, 555 feet tall. It's showing you where the power is. This is a worship to Satan, to Lucifer. Same thing at the River Thames in London. London is also a district, just like the Vatican is also a district inside of Rome, just like Washington, D.C. is inside of the Beltway, just like London is inside of England. This is not by coincidence. They have installed and constructed this thing together. So this 3-headed monster is the one that Satan is using. I know where you dwell. You dwell where Satan's seat is. This is why I call the United Snakes of America. It's the land of the serpents. And the main serpent, Halal, aka Lucifer, aka Satan, aka the devil, the serpent. This is his kingdom. He's the one who's erected all of this. Yahuwah has allowed him to do so. All these kingdoms, he said, has been given to me, and I can give it to whomever I wish, for it is mine to do this. This is what he said to our Messiah when he tried to tempt him in the wilderness. And so Christianity is about to be destroyed. And so again, he causes them, the 10 kings, to rule over the many, whoever is left after this world war, and they divide the land for gain. And I've showed many of you this map. Where is it at here? I know I have it. There it is. The Club of Rome. This is the Club of Rome map. This is the 10 kingdoms, the 10 toes. Okay? It's all here. This is probably going to change a little bit. Some of these lines may not be exactly where they're at. Mexico is probably going to be part of Canada and the United States together as one conglomerate. And then you have Latin America or Central America along with South America being another. Then you have here Western Europe, Turkey, Great Britain, this whole part of what we call Western Europe or the NATO alliance, along with all of these here. They're all going to be the second kingdom. The third kingdom is going to be Japan and probably Japan and South Korea together. Not quite sure. Then the fourth is going to be New Zealand along with Australia and Tasmania. And then you have the fifth, which is going to be Russia all by itself with all of Siberia. Sixth is South America. The seventh is, where is the seventh? Oh, seventh is right here, which is going to be what we know as the Middle East and Northern Africa. Okay, the Arab nations, Northern Africa and the Middle East, except for Israel. Okay, Israel is part of the fourth kingdom. They're going to be part of South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, and Israel kind of ironic, wouldn't you say? Because there's a lot of Germans who are down there in Afrikaan, down there in South Africa. They're also from Germany, most of them, just like those who are in Israel calling themselves Jewish. They're mostly Polish and German and Ukrainian and parts of Russia. And so then you also have the eighth, which is going to be Sub-Saharan Africa. All right. That would be like Nigeria, Chad, Congo, all of that stuff. They're all in this area. And then you have India and Southeast Asia, which would be Vietnam and Thailand and Malaysia and Indonesia and all of that stuff. They're all part of that part. And then number 10 is the last one, which is China by itself. Now, all of this, I didn't make this up. You can look up the Club of Rome right now, and you can find this same map on their website. Yes, this is the same map on the link tree. Yes, it is. Okay. Queen 0202, you can get that. Albert Pike, just put in what I just shared with you earlier. You're going to see a few different ones that come up. Let me see here. So if you go back and just put this in, what I had put in earlier. 3 World Wars spoken by Albert Pike. Okay. 3 World Wars spoken of by Albert Pike. Yeah, it's going to be blocked. You're going to have to, do a little research to get some of this stuff. But again, this is one of those things that, well, if everything happens according to what we just read, Studio Few, North Korea is part of communism. They're going to all fall together. Russia, China, Cuba, North Korea, Chile, Venezuela, all of these places where they're atheists and they're communist at heart as a governmental structure, it's all because they're all going to be brought under the one world order. They're all going to be controlled by Shaitan, just like it says in Revelation chapter 13. It's so ironic to hear Christianity talk about, oh, when the rapture happens and the church is gone, then the 144,000 Jewish boys are going to go out and they're going to evangelize the world for Jesus. They have no idea what is coming down the pipe. No idea. Okay? Christianity is going to be done. There ain't going to be no Christians. There's not going to be no Muslims. There's not going to be no atheists. They're all going to be children of Satan. They're going to take the mark. They're going to be part of the Luciferian belief system. This is what it's going to be. This is not something that this is their ideology. No, this is right here in the book of Revelation. This wasn't possible until our time in the history of man. In chapter 13, it says this about what's going to happen. So first, let me paint a picture for you. Satan is not earthbound yet. He still has some freedom to roam back and forth between the earth and to where he can present himself in the heavenlies by Yahuwah, and he can make accusations against Yahuwah's people. But the day is coming where he's going to be earthbound. He's going to get his wings plucked, if you will. Okay. And he won't be able to transverse between earth and heaven anymore. He's going to be earthbound. And this is what I want to read for you. And there came to be fighting in the Shama. Mikael and his messengers, yours to say angels, fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his messengers fought, and his angels fought. So this is the war in heaven, in the heavenlies. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, who is Satan, and his angels, the third of the angels that fell with him. But they were not strong enough. Who was not strong enough? Satan and the third of the angels that followed him were not strong enough, nor was there place found for them in heaven any longer. And the great dragon was thrown out, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who leads all the world astray. All the world astray. You mean to tell me that all these different religions on this earth, outside of the one true doctrine, is all from Satan? Yes. Yes, he is the mighty one of this world. Everything in it belongs to him. Everything. And Yahuwah is going to take it back. But he has to allow these things to transpire. His will has to be done according to what was written, like what we just read in Hazon chapter 17, Revelation chapter 17. His will shall be accomplished. And so it goes on and says, they were not strong enough, nor was place found for them any more in the heavens any longer. And that great dragon was thrown out, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who leads all the world astray. He was thrown out to the earth. This is when he's earthbound. And his messengers, his angels, were thrown out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in the heaven, in the Shama, now have come the deliverance or salvation in some of your translations. And it says, and the power and the reign, the kingdom of our Alua Alahim, the mighty of mighty ones, and the authority of his Messiah. For the accuser of our brethren, which is Satan, who accused them before Alua Alahim day and night, he was doing this steadily, he has been thrown down. Throw down to where? He's been thrown down to the earth. And they, who's they? That's you and me. They overcame him. Overcame who? The dragon, because of the blood, the dam of the lamb, and because of the word of their witness. So the word of their witness is that they hold the witness that Yahusha is Yahuwah. He is the Almighty. He is the one who came in the flesh. This is our witness. And they did not love their lives to the death. So that means that we're going to have to give our lives, most of us, for what we believe in, for who we testify of. There is no second exodus of you going to some place in the wilderness and you're going to be there and Yahuwah is going to have you go underneath this rod of iron and say, let's see if you're going to rebel against my agreement or not. No, that's happening right now. He's doing that with his people right now. Each and every one of us who have come into this world born of a woman, since the Messiah has come and gone, we are now being subjected to this barometer, to see if we're going to continue to be rebellious or if we are going to obey. If you are going to be rebellious, he says you are not going to enter into the promised land. When he goes and gathers his people after the end of those, at the end of the tribulation of those days, okay, there is no gathering until at the end, until the end of the great tribulation of those days. Then we shall see the sign of the son of Adam coming in the clouds up in the heavens. And he shall send his malakim, his angels, to the four corners of the earth. And he is going to give them a loud trumpet. That's the last trumpet, the seventh trumpet. And he shall blow it. And his malakim, his angels, shall gather his elect. That's you and me, the Kadashim, the Talmudim, the disciples, those who are under the ground, who have been unalive before us. They shall be brought up out the grave. And then those of us who are alive at the coming of our Messiah, we shall be changed in a twinkling of an eye, not taken in a twinkling of an eye. We shall be changed in a twinkling of an eye. And then we shall be caught up. We shall be gathered together unto him. And then we shall be with him forevermore. But we are not staying in heaven. Heaven is not our home. It's not our abode. It's not our dwelling place. Our dwelling place is going to be here on the earth. May your kingdom come on earth as it is in the Shamaim, in the heavens. We are going to rule and reign with him on the earth, not in heaven, on the earth. Heaven belongs to the angels and all the heavenly hosts. The earth belongs to Adam's kind. This is our home. This is where Yahuwah is going to make his dwelling amongst us. He is going to bring Jerusalem, New Jerusalem, down here to the earth. It's not going to stay in heaven. It's coming down to the earth. And it'll be here forever. This is when he makes the new heaven and the new earth, and New Jerusalem descends upon the new earth. And so we see here that the dragon has been brought down to the earth. When does this happen? Let me show you. It happens at the fifth trumpet. The fifth trumpet, the messenger sounded, and I saw a star from heaven that had fallen to the earth. What star is this that fell? This is Satan. How do we know it's Satan? If you go down here, it says, and they have over them a king, the angel of the pit, or of the bottomless pit, the pit of the deep, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon. It means destroyer. In the Greek language, that same name would be Apollyon. It also means destroyer. It says the first woe is past. That first woe unto the inhabitants of the earth. Notice what it says here. And I looked and I heard an eagle flying in the midst of heaven, crying with a loud voice, saying, woe, woe, woe to those dwelling upon the earth, because the remaining blast of the trumpet of the three angels who are about to sound. This is the first woe. This is the fifth trumpet. The last three trumpets, the fifth, sixth, and the seventh trumpet. The fifth trumpet is when Satan and the third of the angels are earthbound. They have a king over them. That king is Satan. That is who you know as Lucifer. This is when he enters into the body of the false Messiah. This is where it says here. And they worship, verse 4, they worship the dragon, that is Satan, who gave authority to the beast, that's the false Messiah. And they worship the beast, saying, who is like the beast and who is able to fight with him? So why did they worship the beast if they are worshiping the dragon? Because the dragon is going to possess the body of the beast. He is going to indwell the body of the beast. When does this happen? Verse 15 of chapter 13, and there was given to him to give spirit. This word spirit here, if we was to use it in the Abrit, because this was written in the Greek, I believe it says that it is what's the word? Oh man, I forget right now. Let me pull it up. I can't remember. It has psyche. I think that's what it is. Let me look. Let me not guess this out. I want you guys to see it. But in the Hebrew, it would be nafash. Nafash, which means breath, wind, spirit. Let me pull this up here. I can't remember it in the Greek. Let's go to Revelation 13. And this is verse 15. Okay. In the King James Version, they don't say spirit, they say life, right? Where is it here? And he had power to give life. Life. Let's look that word up. 4151. What does it say? Pneuma. Oh, that's what it meant. Yes, like pneumonia. Pneuma. Pneuma, which is a current of air that is breath, blast, or breeze. By analogy, or figuratively, a spirit that is human, the rational soul, implication, vital principle, mental disposition, etc. Okay, superhuman. It could be an angel, it could be a demon, or a divine God, the mighty one spirit, the Ruach HaKadosh, life, spiritual, spiritually minded. Okay, so what are we being told here? If we go back and we look at this, what is it saying to us? And he, this is the false prophet, he was given power. This word power, didomai, is where we get the word dynamite. Okay? Some say dudamus. But here it's talking about how you get, let's see here, literally, greatly modified, adventure, bestow, deliver, grant, give, minister, number, offer, have, power, receive, set, show, smite, strike, suffer, take, utter. So he's been given power, authority, this power here. And then there's another word attached to it in the Greek, autos, self. He was given self-power to give life, pneumia, that give right there, to give. Oh, wait, we see do to me twice. Let me see here. Yep. So we see this number twice, 1325, 1325. So he had authority or power to give, to power life. He was given the power to give life, is pretty much what is being told here. Let's see how it says it here in this passage. And there was given to him to give spirit, breath, a soul to the image. The word image here in the Greek is icon, like the camera icon, IKON. Okay, icon. Likeness, literally, statue, profile, figuratively, representation, resemblance, image. Okay, so this would be a duplicate, if you will. This is how whatever is going to happen, this person is going to get another body, this image. So this false Messiah is going to show himself as he is resurrecting. This is going to cause all the people to say this about, where does it say it here? And they worship the dragon, verse 4. They worship Satan, who gave power, authority to the beast. This is when the dragon enters the image, the clone of this beast, this second body. And it says here that they worship the beast, just like they worship the dragon. They're going to also worship the beast. And the people are going to say, who is like the beast? Who is able to fight with him? Why would they say that? Because he just resurrected. Who can war with the beast? You can't even kill him. This is what they're going to be saying, because again, he's coming back to life. And that the image of the beast should both speak and cause to be unalived as many as would not worship the image of the beast. This is the clone. Now, a lot of people want to put it on AI. I don't believe it to be AI. If I'm reading what I'm seeing here, this is going to be a physical person who comes back, and it's been granted to the false prophet to have the same ability, the same power that Yahuwah gave Adam when he breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. This is what we're seeing here. He's going to give the breath of life to the image. And this image is literally going to be alive. This is why this beast, when we get to Revelation chapter 20, notice what it says here. It doesn't say that the image was thrown into the lake of fire. No. Verse 9, chapter 19, not verse chapter 20. Where is it here? Or is it chapter 20? No, it's got to be 19. Word of man and the prophet. Okay, yeah, here it is. Verse 20. And the beast, this is the image, this is the clone. And the image of the beast, this is the clone, was seized. He was taken. He was captured. With him, the false prophet also, who worked signs in his presence, in the beast's presence. By that he led astray those who received the mark of the beast and those who worship the image, his image. The two were thrown alive. Notice that, thrown alive. This cannot be a statue. This cannot be an artificial intelligence. This is a real person. Thrown alive into the lake of fire burning with sulfur. And the rest were unalive with the sword that came from the mouth of him who sat on the horse. We're talking about our Messiah who sat on the horse. Remember, what did it say here in verse 11? And I saw open, and there was a white horse, and he who sat on him was called trustworthy and true. This is our Messiah that is talking about here. Okay. And the rest were unalived with the sword that came or proceeded out of the mouth of him capitalized, our Messiah, who sat on the horse. This is the white horse. And all the birds were filled with their flesh. Who's the birds? That's you and I. We are the ones who are coming behind him. We too. It says what? And the armies of the heaven, dressed in fine linen, white and clean, followed him on white horses. So not only is the Messiah going to be flying down on this white horse, but we're also going to be flying down on white horses. This is the marriage supper of the Lamb. We are eating, metaphorically speaking. We are going to be filled with the flesh of these mighty men and women. This is why it says here, come, gather together for the supper of the great Alua Alahim. This is the marriage supper of the Lamb. What are we going to be doing? We're not going to be sitting up in the heaven for 7 years, sitting up there while the world is going through its chaos. No, this is at his coming. We're going to, metaphorically speaking, eat the flesh of kings, the flesh of commanders, the flesh of strong ones, the flesh of horses, and those who sit on them, and the flesh of the people, free and slave, both small and great. Who are these people? Everyone who received the mark. And I saw the beast and the sovereigns of the earth and their armies gathered together to fight him who sat on the horse and his army. This is the battle at Armageddon. And the beast was seized, and this is what we read, how they're both going to be thrown into the lake of fire alive. So this is not no artificial intelligence that we're reading about in chapter 13, which is what you're hearing from a lot of Christian so-called eschatological teachers who don't understand who even true Israel is. And they believe that the people in Israel right now, the 1948ers, the Rev 2939 people, are the true Jews. They are not the true Jews. They're imposters. They're occupiers. They have taken on the identity of the true Jews that people call African Americans, blacks, Negroes. This is why they are the bottom of the totem pole. They're going to be first once again, as it says, and Shaul made mention of this. Nowhere does he talk about Christianity being on the top. No, look what it says here. This is why, again, you must understand the history of this book, because if you don't, you're doomed to repeat the failures of those who came before us. Notice what it says here. For I do not want you to be ignorant of this secret, brethren. He's talking to the Gentiles who have converted and they have been adopted in as Israelites. Lest you should be wise in your own estimation, that hardening in part has come over Yasharal. This is talking about DNA Israel. This is talking about those who are the physical bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, until the completeness of the nation. Your translation may say the Gentiles. Who's the Gentiles? Everybody outside of Israel has come into what? Come into salvation. And so all Yasharal, after he's done dealing with the Gentiles who have been numbered amongst his people, this is the mixed multitude, just like those that came out of Egypt with the children of Israel. This is the mixed multitude. They too will be saved, but now he's going to deal directly with Yasharal. DNA Yasharal. It says, and so all Yasharal shall be saved, as it has been written, the deliverer shall come out of Zion, and he shall turn away the wickedness from Jacob, that is Israel. And this is the agreement with them, that I shall take away their transgressions. And so he says here, truly, as regards to the great news, they are enemies for your sakes, you Gentiles, those of you who are not DNA Israel. But concerning choice, this is the election, the pre, what they call it, I can't even think of it right now. Not the pre-election, predestination. That's the word I was looking for. But concerning those from predestination, they are beloved for the sake of the fathers. Who's the fathers? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And so Shaul, Paul says, for the gifts and the calling of Alua Alahim are not to be repented of. He's talking about the promises that was made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that they would also, their children, the DNA bloodline of Israel, they shall be saved. Not all of them. We know 2/3 of them are going to be destroyed. But there are certain ones of the melanated persuasion We're not talking about the Hamites. Yes, even some of the Hamites, they are also considered Gentiles. They're outside of Israel. There are some of those that they shall be saved as well. They've been called, just like the Gentiles. All those, the Chinese men, the Korean, the Japanese, the Australians, the all the different Africans, all the different Europeans. There are numbers of the Gentiles that have been mixed into the multitude of Yasharal. And so this is why Shaul says this at the very beginning of chapter 11 in Romans. I say then, has Alua Elohim rejected his people? Notice who we're talking about. He's not talking about Christians. He's not talking about Christians. Let it not be, for I am also of Yasharal. Notice who the people are. Yasharal. Of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. He's letting you know exactly what are the 12 tribes that he comes from. He says, Alua Elohim has not rejected his people. Oh, well, Christianity says otherwise. They teach this replacement theology and say, we're the spiritual Israel now. That's nowhere in the book. Shaul doesn't teach that. In fact, Shaul says, you better not boast against the branches. He says here, he says, you shall say then, the branches were broken off that I might be grafted in. This is talking about the Gentiles getting into Israel. He says, wonderful. By unbelief, they were broken off. That unbelief right there is by disobedience. They were broken off because they disobeyed his commandments. They didn't keep his commandments. You stand by belief. You stand by obedience. So do not be arrogant, but fear, you Gentiles who became Israel. For if Alua Elohim did not spare the natural branches, that's DNA Israel, he might not spare you either, who is not DNA Israel. See then the kindness and the sharpness of Alua Elohim on those who fell, sharpness. But towards you, Gentiles who became Israel, kindness. If you continue in his kindness. Otherwise, you shall also be cut off. You will be broken off, just like the DNA Israel, those who did not continue to keep the commandments. And they also, if they do not continue in unbelief, that is disobedience, they shall be grafted in again. For Alua Elohim is able to graft them back in again, back into their own tree. This is why he says, come back to me, you backslider. I am married to you, Israel. For if you were cut out of the olive tree that is wild by nature, that is a Gentile, and were grafted contrary to the nature into a great olive tree, that's the children of Yasharal, how much more shall these who are of the natural branches, who are of DNA Yasharal, be grafted into their own olive tree again? For I don't want you to be ignorant of this secret. And this is what we were talking about. So again, when we go back to Revelation and we see what's going on here, Satan is going to indwell into the anti-Messiah. And when he does this, they are going to destroy Christianity because it has been put into the hearts of these leaders by our Creator. He put it in their hearts to do his will, his mind, his desire. And they're going to destroy Christianity. So you might as well come out of her now. This is why he says here, if you continue reading all of this, he keeps talking about this woman. He says here in verse 4 of chapter 18, I heard another voice saying, come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, her transgressions, and lest you receive of her plagues. Who is he talking to? Who is his people? Who have been called his people? It's the children of Israel. And who else did he call his people? He says, who are not his people, but they shall become his people. These are the selected ones who are of the mixed multitude of the different families of the Gentiles. They too shall become part of Yasharal. Come out of her teachings, my people. Come out of her doctrines, my people. Come out of Christianity, my people. So it's a very heavy topic. And so in case you don't know, now you know, Christianity, Islam, atheism, all of it, Judaism, Zionism, all of that is going to be destroyed because Satan is going to erect his utopia where they're all going to worship him. Ain't no more Christianity. Ain't no more Judaism with Zionism. Ain't no or Islam, they are all going to worship Ha-Satan. Shybat, you said, I've done my research and Native Americans are Hebrew. Yes, that's true. And the black Negro Africans are Egyptian, but become mighty people. Well, you got two things mixed in there, Akodi. The Egyptians are not Israelites. The Egyptians are Hamites. Okay? That doesn't mean any of the Egyptians can't be saved. But when we're talking about who his people are, the 12 tribes of Yasharal, Egypt is not one of them. Egypt comes from the line of Ham, okay? The children of Israel come from the line of Sham or Shem, right? And of course, the Europeans come from the line of Japheth. Now, here's the thing that all of you, especially those of you of the Caucasian persuasion, and I don't want you to take this personal. You can do your own research. In fact, I can even show you here. Let me pull this up. Not all of you who call yourselves Native Americans are Native Americans. If you go back and you look into the history in the early 1900s, a lot of the Caucasians here in the United States took on the label as being Native Americans for one purpose. They wanted to get the restitution or the reparations and be a part of the Native Americans for land and for rights. Okay, let me show this to you. This is why you have a lot of white folks, and I'm not saying that all white folks are lying. Okay, not all of them are that way. There are some Caucasian folks. Let me just put it this way, because I know white is like somebody calling us black. I get it. It's not correct. But there is a lot of the Caucasian people in the past who have taken on the term Indian. Okay. Give me a second here. Let me see if I can find it. I might have erased it. Let's go here. Okay. I'm not going to read all of this, but you can do your own thing here. And I know some people, they're going to find this offensive, and I don't want you to be offensive. It's the same thing with the Jewish folks. These Polish, Germanic, Ukrainian, Russian people did with our heritage as the tribe of Judah and took on the name Jewish. There's a lot of Caucasian Americans who did the same thing with the 10 lost tribes of Yasharal that were already here, and they are Negroes. The original tribes here and what people call Native Americans were Negroes. They were curly-haired, dark, big-lipped, wide-nosed Negroes, okay? Indigenous identity fraud in Canada and the United States. And I'm not going to read all of this, but just so you can see some of this. Indigenous identity fraud is a practice of non-Indigenous people incorrectly claiming Indigenous identity. The Indigenous Chamber, doggies, stop it. The Indigenous Chamber of Commerce states, for Indigenous peoples, identity is not of self-declared label, but is instead grounded in ancestry, kinship, community recognition, and lived experience, among other things. Indigenous identity fraud also refers to an individual who makes such incorrect claims. Now, if you go into this thing, it talks about how a lot of them pretend themselves to be the tribe of Cherokee and of the Sioux, and a lot of these other ones. Cherokee is the biggest one. A lot of Caucasians call themselves being Cherokee. And when they do the DNA test, they find out that they're not Cherokee at all. They don't have not one single drop. Okay. But let me show you another one. Let me show you another one here. Doggies, I'm going to separate you if you guys keep doing that. Stop it. The white flight behind Native Americans, 87% population growth, okay? The Native American population in the US grew by a staggering almost 87% between 2010 and 2020. According to the latest US Census, a rate demographers say is impossible to achieve without immigration. Birth rate among Native Americans don't explain the massive rise in numbers, and there certainly is no evidence of an influx of Native Americans expirates returning to the U.S. So it's not like somebody who left and immigrated back in. It says, instead, individuals who previously identified as white are now claiming to be Native American. This growing movement has been captured by terms like pretendian, okay, pretend Indians, right? And wannabe, all right? Another way to describe this recent adoption of Native American identity is what is called racial shifting. Now, the reason why I bring all this up is because, again, I'm not speaking to all of you out there. Don't take this personal. I just want you to know that the same thing that happened to the tribe of Judah and to the tribe of Benjamin and to the Levitical priesthood is the same thing that happened to the 10 lost tribes that found themselves here in the Americas, who are dark melanated, again, curly lock, wide nose, wide lip people. Okay, this is one of the places that the 10 lost tribes came to. They came here to the Americas. You'll find them all up and down Central and North America. All right. It wasn't until the Europeans got here that you start seeing them with long, stringy hair, the longer European nose, the people that you see that they call like Geronimo and all that stuff. That's not how they used to look. They used to look just like the people that you know as African Americans. They looked identical. In fact, in Virginia, there was this Pocahontas, look into it, Pocahontas, what is that thing called that they used? Oh man, it was like Pocahontas law or something like that. Whereas if you have, what did they say, an 8%, 1/8% of the native blood, you were considered a mulatto. Okay, a mulatto, as many of you know, is a dark melanated person. This isn't a person who's mixed. The Native Americans that we know today as Indians are mixed people. The original natives were very dark, very dark. Again, they look just like who you would call an African American. Okay, so these are things that you need to go and look into these things. All right. Again, I know people get real touchy about when you start talking about somebody's background because their grandma or their grandpa or somebody told them back in the day, yeah, we got, Cherokee in our family. And then you go and do the blood test and you find out you have none. You have none. Okay, so just wanted to put that out there. But all that being said, regardless of that, that's not what gets us into the kingdom. Because you're from one of the 10 tribes or you're from one of the other 2 tribes. That's not what gets you into the kingdom. What gets you in the kingdom is your obedience to the law and you believe in the Messiah. That's what gets you in. Not your background, not where you come from, not from your family tree, not your DNA roots. None of that is going to save you. But for historical purposes, I share this with you so that you understand who the people of the book are. So you understand how these people got here when so-called Christopher Columbus came up off of his ship and he see nothing but Negroes. He even said it. Go and look into his voyage library, what he wrote down in his journal. They didn't meet no natives from India thinking he was in India like we've been taught. All this was to cause confusion in the historical record of who was actually already here, because it only shows that this book is real. Just like they don't want you to know the earth is flat. They want you to think it's round. They don't want you to know that the so-called African Americans who came here on these slave ships are from the royal tribe of Judah. They were brought here because of what they did to the Messiah. Those Jewish people over there, the 1948ers, the 2939 of Revelation, are not the people who unalived our Messiah. It was our ancestors, the African Americans, as they call us. We're the ones who put him on the stake. We're the ones who gave him over to the Roman Gentiles. We're the ones who got him slapped and got his beard pulled out and spit upon and had him whipped and hung on a tree. Hence why we got the same treatment when we were taken. Our ancestors were taken on these slave ships and brought here to the Americas. And so the same thing happened to us. What happened to the head happened to the body. We did that to our Messiah. Our Messiah said, well, it's going to happen to you and your children. Just like what we said to Pontius Pilate. Let our blood be upon us and our children. You just make sure to carry out our orders and hang them on that tree as we want you to do. Because if you don't, then you're no friend of Caesar's. Pontius Pilate was like, oh, okay, well, let me wash my hands of this and let me do as you guys want. I wash my hands clean of this innocent man. So, yes, and even in the Book of Mormon, which you got to take the Book of Mormon with a grain of salt for real. There's a lot of misinformation in there. Be careful. Be careful. That's just like somebody taking a book and state that it was given to them as the true doctrine. Sound familiar? It's today called Islam. Nobody else witnessed this angel that came to Muhammad. And Muhammad said it was Gabriel that came to him and says, I'm going to give you the true religion. I'm going to give you the true doctrine. Joseph Smith said the same thing. He said an angel appeared to him. An angel Moroni was the name. And Moroni says, here is the Urim and the Thummim. You are to write down what's in this. But we're told in scripture, if anyone comes to you, be it an angel from heaven or anyone else by letter or as if one of us told you, don't believe it. Why? Because you're going to have at least another witness to say, I back up what Joseph Smith said because I was there. I saw the angel myself as well. Or someone saying, I was there when Muhammad saw Archangel Gabriel in the cave. I saw it also as well as a witness. But these two religions have been propped up by a man. No one else can corroborate their information and then gives us the information that we have today. And here we have these so-called set-apart books or holy books called the Book of Mormon and the Quran. If we're going to be that easily taken in by, oh, well, then we might as well read the books of Hinduism. If it's just about somebody saying that they got some information from an angel. This is how clever Satan works. This is why we have to test all things. And if you don't test the Book of Mormon because you read things in it that agrees with your heart, there's a way that seems right to a man, but it leads to death. I know there's people on TikTok and there are even some that are of the melanated persuasion that are going around talking about this is the lost book of the children of Israel, the Book of Mormon. You better be careful. You better be careful. Because in that same Book of Mormon, it says that those who are painted or of dark melanation, this is their curse. This is why they've been given this dark pigmentation as their curse. That's nowhere in the book, but it's in the Book of Mormons. You need to be careful what you put out there and present to people as truth. That's why you got to test it all. Test it all. Let's see here. Oh, I mean, you're going to find it, Yaverna, on everything. Instagram, YouTube. It's everywhere. TT is just another one of these that we find ourselves where a lot of things are coming out because, you know, it's got a great following and, you know, you got everybody who want to be a teacher and a historian today, and they just want to bring things out. Yep. Yah's chosen daughter. What is it that you want me to read from Galatians 3:23-29? Elab. What's the Elab? Or that's the way it's showing up on my end. And that's what they push. Oh, is that to please elaborate? Okay. Yeah. Oh, your Aki's a little slow when it comes to abbreviated words. Look, everybody else is like, elaborate. That's what it means. Yes, you did, Cody. Okay, so Galatians chapter 3, 23. to 29 to the end of the chapter, yeah? Okay, let's read it. But before belief came, we were being guarded under the Torah, having been shut up for the belief being about to be revealed. Therefore, the Torah became our trainer unto the Messiah in order to be declared right by belief. And after belief has come, we are no longer under the trainer, for you are all sons of Alua Alihim through the belief in the Messiah Yahusha. For as many of you who are immersed into the Messiah have put on the Messiah. There is no Yahudi nor Greek, there is no slave nor free, there is no male nor female, for you are all one in the Mashiach, Yahusha. And if you are of the Mashiach, then you are of the seed of Abraham and heirs according to the promise. So, to elaborate on this, which I have done many times, elaborating on what? The way the Mormons look at this? Is that what you're saying? Because this has nothing to do with Mormonism. What you got there, Hazel? What you want, baby girl? Sacred. You say JC is God. Yeah, we don't deal with that name here. It summarizes Yah never intended the law to be final solution for the problem with transgressing the law. Yeah, so I mean, I didn't know where you wanted me to go with on there. So Shaul, the Apostle Paul, is explaining that the Messiah showed us the understanding of how we are to follow the law. Okay, what the law was entailed to do. Before he came, it was a tutor. It was teaching us. We didn't understand the full understanding of how to fulfill the law until the Messiah came and showed us how to fulfill the law. Oh, no, I'm not saying that you said anything against the Mormons. I mean, a lot of the Mormons, and I mean, they're just another denomination of Christianity. They're all in the lie. They're all in the great delusion. They're all into the beast system. Sacred ENL. If you come in here talking about JC is LORD, we already know this. You're not telling us something that we don't know. But the problem is, ENL, the problem is that JC is not the Messiah, nor is he the creator of heaven and earth. The Hebrew Messiah, Yahusha, is the creator. He is the Messiah. Sacred. JC is not the Messiah. JC is the Christ. Okay. Christ has to do with Krishna. Did you know that? You might want to look into the history of our so-called, what we used to be. We're not Christians in here. We used to be Christians. Many of us used to be Christians. Our eyes have been opened to the truth, and I hope that your eyes, that Yahuwah will open up your eyes to the truth, and you will remove the name of Baal out of your mouth. JC is not the name. It is a name that has been given to us. Sacred, you say, telling him to get rid of me is ridiculous. I am not trolling. Well, then you should come in here and listen and ask some questions instead of trying to push your dogma of things that we came out of. We know what Christianity is. We know who JC is. We know the title of God and Lord. These are things that has been given to us, just like it has been given to you. And if you heed the warning in Scripture, you'll know that that is not his name, because JC doesn't have a meaning of salvation. It comes from the word Zeus. And we all know who Zeus is. So, any other things that anyone wants to share? Can we look at Jeremiah 33, verses 17 and 26? Will there be a physical descendant of Dawood over the children of Yashrael? Yes. Yes. And that physical descendant is going to be who we know as Yahusha. Yahusha is going to sit on that throne. He is going to sit on that throne. Studio Few, I think you're talking about the Cepher, Cepher. I personally don't like it. It's been changed. Hilda, you're very welcome, from India. Bangalore, wow. I hope things are well over there in India for you. There is a big group that I'm in contact with. I don't know exactly what part of India they're in. Very beautiful people, very beautiful. They believe in Yahuwah and Yahusha. They've walked away from Christianity. They don't present the cross anymore. They know that the cross is a pagan symbol. Their eyes have been opened. This is a beautiful thing that is happening here. Sacred, now we can have a conversation. You're asking me a question. Why do you hate JC? Do you denounce him as Lord, or is it just a name and spelling disagreement? It's actually a little more than that, Sacred. You see, let me ask you a question, Sacred, and I hope you're here to listen. So Sacred, let's just say your name is John, okay? If you was to go to any other country on this earth, regardless of what language they speak, your name doesn't change. Your name will always be John, okay? The crazy, ironic thing of our Messiah's name, do you know that our Messiah's name was changed, Sacred? Do you know that our Messiah's original name is not JC? And if so, what do you know his name to be? And I guarantee you're going to tell us what the Jewish people have told Christians, that his name is Yeshua, right? Is that what you know his name to be? Yeshua? Yes, I know his name is Yeshua. Okay, so now Yeshua wasn't the name of the Messiah either. That has been given to us by people who don't even believe in the Messiah. these people who call themselves Jews and are not, the Jewish people, these curly lock folks that don't believe in the Messiah, they gave us a spinoff. They gave us a spinoff of both the Father and the Son's name. They say that the Son's name is Yeshua, which is actually from the Aramaic language. It's not from the Hebrew. And Yeshua, the name Yeshua or the word Yeshua means salvation. Okay. And then they gave us the name of the Father and they told us his name is Yahweh. His name is not Yahweh. Okay. So both of those are wrong. Okay. Now, the reason why the name JC is not the correct name. Okay. This is where it gets real tricky. This is how subtle Satan has changed things, because Satan has taken the word and he's corrupted it. You got to ask yourself the question. When you read Matthew chapter 1, I'm going to read it out of the King James Version so you can see it for yourself. Okay? And don't pay attention to anybody else who's saying something to you. I want you to pay attention to what I'm sharing with you right now. Okay? Because if you're truly interested, I want you to see this, all right? Because it's for your soul. If you want salvation, you're going to have to know the name. And if you want salvation, you're going to have to know what he taught. All right? So if we go to Matthew chapter 1, notice what it says here, ENL. Verse 21 of chapter 1. And she, that is Mary, shall bring forth a son, and you shall call his name, and they gave us the JESUS. But notice what precedes after that. JESUS, and says, for he shall save his people from their sins. So it's telling you that the name has something to do with, for he shall save his people from their sins. Now, my question to you, ENL, is, what does Jesus mean? Can you show me from any language on the earth, translated into the English, what does Jesus mean? Because Jesus isn't English. Because if it was English, it would have a meaning. So what does Jesus mean, ENL? And I'm going to show you why that name is wrong. But I want to see, and because I want you to participate, right? Reciprocate with me as we're having this conversation. What does Jesus mean? I'm not sure what it means. I just know him as our Savior. Okay, and you know what? That's all of us, right? Nothing wrong with that. Yeah? I was the same. When I used to preach the gospel, I told everybody that they need to believe in the Lord and Savior as JESUS. Okay? I used to preach that hard for decades. Okay? But what I'm trying to get you to see is that in these last days, he says that this is a prophecy, that he is going to give us his true name again. Let me show you from Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 9. Zephaniah in the Old Testament, give me a second here. Chapter 3, verse 9. Notice what it says here. For then I will turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name, and then they have this Lord, to serve him with one consent. This is not our Creator's name. Lord is not our Creator's name. In fact, if you look up the word Lord, it's going to take you to a word called Baal. You ever heard of Baal? BaalEnl? Baal? You ever looked up the word Lord and found out that it means Baal? I have heard of Baal. Okay, so let me show you this. Because I don't want to just speak it to you. I want to show you evidence, right? This is another one that's going to blow your mind. If you have eyes to see and ears to hear, this is going to blow your mind, ENL. This is another prophecy. I'm about to take you to Jeremiah chapter 23. I want you to read this with me. Jeremiah the prophet, chapter 23. It says that we were going to call him Lord. I want you to see this. And he's not happy with that title. The Creator is not happy with the title Lord, okay? But let Christians tell you, and they'll just say, don't worry about it. Don't even sweat it. But we should sweat it if he says he doesn't like this. Verse 25 to 27, it says, I have heard what the prophets said that prophesy lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed, I have dreamed. How long shall this be in the hearts of the prophets to prophesy lies? Yes, they are prophets of the deceit of their own heart, that think to cause my people, check this out, ENL, they think to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams that they tell every man and to their neighbor, as their fathers have forgotten. Notice who forgotten? Their fathers have forgotten my name for Baal. Let's look up this word Baal. Remember, we're in Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 27, okay? Just to show it to you. Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 27. It says, we forgot his name for Baal. Let's look up this word Baal. I'm going to take you here to the eSword on my laptop, and I am going to pull up that same passage, Jeremiah chapter 23. We're going to go down to verse 27. There's the word Baal. You see that? Okay, I'm going to click on 1168. I'm going to open it up here in dictionary. 1168, right? There it is, Baal. Then it says the same as 1167, Baal, Phoenician deity, right? All right, let's click on 1167. Look at this with me, ENL. Remember what he said here. He said that we forgot his name for Baal, okay? Let's see, what do we call him? Do we call him master all the time? Nope. We don't call him that. We might call him that every once in a while. Do we call him husband? Not always. Owner? Not really. But I want you to go down this list with me until we get to BAM. You see that right there? L to the O to the R to the D. This is what we forgot his name for. We forgot his name for Baal. Baal means Lord. Now let me show you some more proof that the people who have wrote our so-called translations, they know that they did this. And I'm going to prove it to you. Let me show you. This is in their preface. Okay, I'm going to show you this one out of this. Check this out. The New King James Version, okay, the Nelson Study Bible. I want you to see this. We're going to go to the preface. Here's the preface. One more page over. I want you to read this with me, okay? The covenant name of God was usually translated from the Hebrew as capital L-O-R-D or G-O-D. Remember what it says here, the covenant name, okay? Usually translated from the Hebrew as L-O-R-D and G-O-D. Using capital letters as shown in the King James Old Testament, this tradition, ENL, this tradition of removing his name and replacing it with L-O-R-D and G-O-D is maintained, okay? In the present edition, the name is so capitalized whenever the covenant name is quoted in the New Testament from a passage of the Old Testament. Now, I got to ask you a question, ENL. Why would they remove his name and put this word Lord there? Why? We got landlords, yeah? We got Lord of the Underground, right? We got the House of Lord in Great Britain, right? So who is the Lord? It's just like saying God. We got the God of this world. We got In God We Trust, right? We got I'm the God, right? We got people calling themselves, what's up, God? right? Like in New York, a lot of our brothers and sisters over there, they're like, what's up, son? Son of God, all this stuff, right? But you're not identifying who the person is in scripture that says this is not his name. He says we forgot his name. And not only did we forget his name, ENL, we replaced his name everywhere where his name should be. They replaced it with LORD and GOD. Do you know how many times that occurs in your King James Version, New King James, NIV, ESV, all these other NLT and all the other translations in English? Almost 7,000 times, ENL. They've removed his name out the books. Who do you think did that? Whose agenda would it be to remove the name of our Creator and to remove the name of his Son off of the books, of the pages? It's not your pastor. It's not the seminary schools. It's not the Pope. It's not any of these people or those who have gone and passed before us. The one person who did this is Satan. As you probably know, ENL, we're not fighting against flesh and blood. We're fighting against these principalities. We're fighting against these wicked heavenly messengers. Not all of them are wicked. The 1/3 that fell with Satan, this is who we're dealing with. They hate our Creator. So when you say, do you hate Jesus? I hate the name Jesus, but not who Jesus stands for, because they replaced the name of our Messiah and gave him a Greek name, Jesus, as our Spanish-speaking brothers and sisters call him. They call him Jesus. We say Jesus, okay? There was no letter J until 1524. Before 1524, there was no letter J in the King James Version. If you go back and you look at the 1611 authorized version of the King James Version, where you see the letter J for Jesus, is going to be a letter I. Why is that there? Because they were calling him Jesus. Jesus. And what does Jesus stand for? Hey, hail, Zeus. Praise Zeus. People don't want to believe that Zeus, and I'm sure you probably heard of this before, ENL. Let me show you something. Let me show you this. Have you ever heard of this before? Have you ever heard of this before, ENL? Yes, sacred. And again, his name is not Yeshua, that's Aramaic. And I'm going to show you the Father's name and the name of the Son here in a minute. But do you see what I just showed you here, ENL? Have you ever heard of this? You have heard of it, right? I want you to pay attention to the last 3 letters, the suffix, okay? You see that S-U-S right there? There's another one. I'll probably spell this one wrong, but deal with it here for a second with me. You ever heard of this one? Dionysus. You notice the S-U-S in Dionysus? Yeah, you've heard of that too, right? How about this one? Ephesus. You know, like the letter to the Ephesians. They live in Ephesus. You see this S-U-S right here? Or what about this one? This is where Paul was from, who they call Paul. His real name is Shaul. Tarsus. You see all of this here? All of this, let me show you. I want to show you something here. Let me pull this up. Give me a second. Let me see if I can locate it here. Give me a second. I got to pull it up here. Okay. Give me a segundo. Where is it here? Okay, here we go. I want you to see this, ENL. What does the Greek suffix sus mean? Okay, let's read this. The sus suffix is a name for the Greek god. Do you see that right there? I could stop right there, but we're going to read more. Do you see it, ENL? I know, right? I'm telling you, Sacred ENL. The reason why I'm sharing this with you, and the reason why we do this every weekend, is because this is now happening. What I read for you in Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 9, he says he is going to return his pure language again to his people so that they can call upon his real name. Okay? So let's continue to read this. The sus suffix is a name for the Greek god Zeus. All ancient names mean something. All ancient names mean something. It wouldn't be like the English names because all English names are from other languages originally. So the sus or sos suffix is a phonetic equivalent. The name Zeus can be spelled SOOS in English, SOS in English, SUS in English, SEUS, and etc. They will all sound the same. Hence phonetic equivalent. In ancient times, most names have the name of their god. Okay, now I'm going to show you the same thing in the Hebrew. This is what the Greeks do, right? They put the sus to signify who they believe and worship, which is Zeus, sus, right? So now let me show you how the Hebrews do the same thing. So let me take you to Isaiah. You probably heard of Isaiah. Let me show you what his real name is. You asked me, so what is the name of the Father and the Son? Here it is right here. So this is how we spell it. And we say Isaiah, okay? But in the Hebrew, there is no E. This should be a A. Yasha, Yahu. Yahu is the name, the contracted name of the Father. It's even more contracted than this. Have you ever said hallelujah, ENL? Have you ever said hallelujah? Hallelujah is a phrase, not a word, okay? In Christian circles, especially in the English, we think of it as a word and we say hallelujah. But hallelujah is a phrase. You have said it, yes, exactly. So hallelujah, where how you spelt it there with the JAH, that should be a YAH, okay? Hallelujah means praise to the I am. Yah is I am. Do you remember, did you read in Exodus chapter 3, where Moses, when he was getting ready to be sent to his people, the Creator said to him, you are to go to your people and bring them back to this mountain, this same mountain, Mount Horeb, we know as Mount Sinai. And so Moses, his real name is Masha, okay? Masha said to Alua Elohim, this right here in the Hebrew, translating it into the English would be mighty one, or it can be plural, mighty ones, okay? But in this instant, it would be singular because he's speaking to the Creator. So Masha, real name, Masha, not Moses, Moses, okay, just like Jesus. They also Greekized Moses' name by calling him Moses. It's Masha. But anyhow, Masha said to Alua Elohim, see, when I come to the children of Yasharal, you may know it as Israel, and they say to them, the mighty one of your fathers has sent me to you, and they, that is the children of Israel, say to me, well, what is his name? What shall I say to them? And so the mighty one said to Masha, I am that I am. That is Hayah, Ashar, Hayah. And he said, thus you shall say to the children of Yasharal, I am has sent me to you. This word right here in the English, I am, is where we get the word in Hebrew, YAH. YAH, okay? YAH is the first two letters of the Creator's name. But he doesn't stop there. He goes on and says, and the Mighty One said further to Masha, thus you are to say to the children of Yasharal. Now here's his name. Let me blow this up. You probably know it as the Tetragrammaton, right? The four-letter consonant words that they say is consonant, but there isn't a consonant word in there or consonant letter in there. It's all vowels. Okay, you ever heard that song? A-E-I-O-U, who, and sometimes Y. Well, those are the vowels, right? Let me show you the vowels here. Read from right to left. Y, H, U, not W, H. They give us the double U. Notice the word double. Double, two letters, two U's. Okay? Double U. But it's only one U. That is a Yad, Ha, Ua, Ha. Ya-U-Ah. Yahoo, which is the first three letters. Y-H-U. That's Yahoo. Ah. Ah, this letter here and this letter here make the same sound. Ya-U-Ah. Yahuwah. That's the name of the Creator. And Yahuwah means I am self-existing. This is his name. And he says this. He says, thus you are to say to the children of Yasharal, Yahuwah, the mighty one of your fathers, the mighty one of Abraham, the mighty one of Isaac or Yitzhak, as we would say, and the mighty one of Yaqub, you may know him as Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name, ENL, forever. It never changes. And this is my remembrance to all generations. Name doesn't change. Names don't translate. You can translate the name, but if you're going to translate the name, make sure it is exactly where it comes from the other language that it came from originally. And so this is why I translated the name Yahuwah, the Father's name. Yahuwah means I am self-existent. Now, what is the Son's name? Well, let me show you. Remember what the Son said in John chapter 5, verse 43? If you don't, let me bring it up to your recollection. John 5:43 says this, I have come in my Father's name. Now, I just told you what the Father's name is. It's Yahuwah. Let me spell it out for you. Y-A-H-U-A-H. Okay? He says, I have come in my Father's name. Yahuwah, right? I have come in my Father's name, and you do not receive me, ENL. If another comes in his own name, notice his own name, him you will receive. Do you know what that name is that we received? That's not the real name. You guessed it. J to the E to the S-U-S. Just like all the rest of them, are we going to break the understanding of S-U-S in the Greek? And we're going to say it doesn't apply to this because why? We're going to be prejudiced about our belief system and say, well, Jesus doesn't mean hail to Zeus. But wait a minute. Our whole New Testament has been translated from the Greek language. That's where this word comes from. This wasn't given to Mary and Joseph from the mouth of Archangel Gabriel. No, they changed it. This isn't the name of our Messiah. This is why I said to you earlier, ENL, yes, I don't like the name Jesus once I found out what it meant. Just like you were surprised and you're like, what? I didn't know that. Exactly. This is why he says his people perish for the lack of knowledge. This is how Satan supplants information into our brain and we never check to see what the information is. This is why we're told we are to rightly divide this word of truth. Because if you don't know what the word means and what we are following, people can throw anything that they want at you and you're going to believe it. That's what we all did. All of us are guilty, ENL. You're not the only one. You're in a great cloud of witnesses right now because we've all did the same. You're no different. We're no different. Okay? What's different is if you continue to stay with the lie, you continue to believe in the tradition of men, and you don't want to change after someone shows you the proof, now you're going to die. Now you're going to have to answer for your own problems. Because you see, Jesus doesn't mean for he shall save his people from their sin. Now let me tell you what the Messiah's name is. Let's go to that same passage that I showed you in Matthew chapter 1, verse 21. And I'm going to read it out of this one. And she shall give birth to a son, and you shall call his name. Not you may want to call his name. No, you shall. This is a commandment. You shall, you will call his name. Again, reading from right to left as in Hebrew. Let me blow that up. You'll see the first three letters are the same as the Father. Yad, Ha, Ua. Y-H-U. That is Yahu. Yahu. This is a Sheen and this is a Ayin. So Yad, Ha, Ua, Sheen, Ayin. That's Y-H-U-S-H-A. That spells Yahusha. That's his name, not Yeshua. Yeshua, again, is Aramaic. That's not Hebrew. This is Hebrew. This is Hebrew, and it means I am is salvation. This is why the archangel Gabriel told Joseph that they are to call his name Yahusha. Why Yahusha? For he shall save his people from their sins. Yahusha, again, means I am, Yah, I am. Husha is salvation. I am is salvation. Why? For he shall save his people from their sins. This is why I asked you, what does Jesus mean? Because you see, all these ancient words have meaning. Today, we just call people, we call our children because we like the way it sounds, or we call our children because that's what the dad was named, or that's what the mom was named, or that's what the grandfather's name. So we just carry on the tradition. We don't give them the purpose of their name. You see, everybody that came before us, everywhere in the Old Testament and even the New, people were called certain names because their parents wanted a certain outcome in their life. I'm going to call him this name because he is going to fulfill what this name means. And so they would give names out that way. And so the name of the Messiah, if we were to spell it into English, ENL, it would be Y-A-H-U-S-H-A. Yahusha. Now, the Creator said, now Yahusha is Yahuwah manifested in the flesh. The Son is the Father manifested in the flesh. But the Son said that he is going to call a people after his name. You ever heard of the tribe of Judah? Well, the tribe of Judah, let me put it on top of the name of the Father here. It's spelled Y-A-H-U-D-A-H. The only difference between Yahuwah, which is the Father's name, and Yahudah, which is the tribe of Judah, the only letter between the two that is different is the letter D. This is why we know his name is pronounced exactly like we pronounce the tribe. Yahudah, Yahuwah. The Messiah says, I've come in my Father's name. Yahu, Shah. I am. He says, you tell them I am sent you. Yah. That's the name, contracted. Like my name is Jimmy, right? But you contract my name, you short my name, it would be Jim. It's the same thing with the Father's name. Yahuwah can be Yahoo, like you. It's actually Matiti Yahu in the Hebrew. That is the Father's name right here at the end, in the suffix, in the Hebrew. The Greeks did the same thing, and they would put S-U-S at the end of their names. Hence, Jesus, Jesus. So, when we talk about this name that is above all names, there's no other name that we can call upon under the heavens that we can call upon. As it says in Acts chapter 4, verse 12, you need to check it. You need to make sure he's allowed us, because of our ignorance, because it wasn't our fault. It was the people who came before us who wrote these things, and these things called the Bible, and we took it for what it was. Okay, so we were led astray from the get-go from what we were reading. The Creator is not holding that accountable to those who didn't do that. But to those who did do that, and they purposely did that, and they're still doing it to this very day with all these modern translations that they are not taking it back to the original, they're going to have to be held accountable. And I'm going to show you that here in a second. But here, Acts 4:12 says, there is no deliverance. Yours will say, there is no salvation in anyone else. For there is no other name, singular, not names, no other name, capitalized, under heaven, given among mankind, that we need to be saved. You need to call on this name. The name is Yahusha. Yahusha. He is not a Greek savior. He's not from Greece. He is from Jerusalem. In fact, he was born in Bethlehem, raised in Nazareth, and he is going to sit on the throne of David in Jerusalem when he cracks that sky. He is a Hebrew of Hebrews. He is an Israelite of the Israelites, born from the tribe of Judah. He is the Lion from the tribe of Judah. He is not from the pantheon of Greece and called Zeus. And the Romans took everything that had Hebrew writings, because these people, just like they're doing to this very day, they want to erase everything that has to do with the Hebrews. This is why they want to destroy the melanated people called the African Americans. Because the African Americans are the true Jews. Hitler knew this. Hitler knew this. He ain't the only one who knows this either. All those Jewish people, like it's 9-ish, it's almost 9 o'clock, but it's not quite. So you say 9-ish. I should be around your house around 9-ish or so. It's the same thing saying Jewish. I'm not quite a Jew, but I'm Jewish. These people know they're not Jews. In fact, just as a side note, do you know that these Jews call themselves Ashkenazi Jews? They are from the tribe of Ashkenaz. And who is Ashkenaz? Let me show you. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 10. Genesis chapter 10. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, or Japheth. The sons were born to them after the flood. Notice here, the sons of Japheth. Japheth. Okay, this is one of the sons of Noah. Japheth's firstborn, his name is Gomer, and then Magog, and Madai, and Yawin, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tiras. But notice here, the sons of Gomer, the firstborn of Japheth. Look what I have underlined. You see that, ENL? This is the Ashkenazi Jews. They are not even Semitic. They don't come from the line of Shem. They come from the line of Japheth. Anytime somebody speaks against them, they say, oh, you're an anti-Semite. Why would they claim to be something that they're not? They're not Shemites. They're Japhites. They should be saying, oh, you are anti-Japhite, not anti-Shemite. They took on the culture, the identity of the true Jews. This is a very serious situation that we find ourselves in. This is why what I was sharing earlier ENL, in case you don't know this, Christianity is about to be destroyed. And it's about to be destroyed by all the leaders of this world on purpose. Because the creator of heaven and earth want them to destroy it because it's not from him. He's put it into the hearts and the minds of these leaders who are under Satan, under Satan's authority, because after all, it was Satan who has promoted Christianity. Let me show you. Revelation chapter 17. Now we're about to go down the rabbit hole. We are called the followers of the way. Exactly what the first disciples were called, followers of the way. The other word that we use is Natsarim. You may have heard it transliterated as Nazarene. It's Natsarim. Our Messiah was a Nazarene. We are followers of the Nazarene. Hence we are called the Natsarim. Natsarim means the watchman or the branches. So check this out. Remember I was telling you how Satan has created this religion called Christianity? Verse 3. Notice what it says here about what John the Revelator said. Let me blow this up so you can read it with me. And he carried me away in the Ruach, in the Spirit, into the wilderness, and I saw a woman, notice this, sitting on a scarlet, that is a red beast, covered with names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. So this beast, we are told symbolically speaking, has 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was dressed in purple and scarlet, that's purple and red, adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls, holding in her hand a golden cup filled with the abominations of the filthiness of her whoring. That is spiritual adultery. And it says, upon her forehead, a name written, a secret, a mystery. Babel, or Babylon the Great, the mother of horrors. Yours may say harlot. And of the abominations of the earth. Okay, so let's back up. Notice it talks about here in verse 3 that John says he saw this woman sitting on a scarlet beast. And it says that this scarlet or this red beast has 7 heads and 10 horns. Well, we know that Yahuwah's word always tells us what his word means. So we're going to go back a few chapters and we're going to look for the same imagery. This scarlet beast having 7 heads and 10 horns. If we go to Revelation chapter 12, verse 3, it says, and another sign was seen in heaven, and see a great fiery red dragon, having what? 7 heads, 10 horns, and 7 crowns on his head. Well, that's the same imagery that we're given here in Revelation chapter 17. Again, it says, scarlet beast, that's a red beast, that would be the red dragon, covered with the names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay? This is the same being. And just so you know, it is Satan. Chapter 12, verse 9 says this, and that great dragon, remember this was the red, fiery red dragon. This great dragon was thrown out, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan. So now you know who this dragon is. This is the same dragon who is being the one who is supporting the woman. This woman who is sitting on this red scarlet beast that's covered with the names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, now the woman, we're given some identity. was dressed in purple and scarlet and adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls, holding in her hand a golden cup filled with the abominations and the filthiness of her whoring. Now let me show you who this woman is. Do you see this man? He's wearing purple. Notice this golden cup in his hand. Notice this wafer that he has that's in the shape of a solar disk. They are sun worshipers after all. Soli Victus. This is why they worship on Sunday. This is why they always say that that their Christ rose on a Sunday, Resurrection Sunday. This is why your Mother's Day that's coming up is going to fall on a Sunday. And then the next month after that in June, your Father's Day falls on a Sunday. Why is all this happening? But notice he's wearing purple. But he ain't the only one. Also wearing scarlet, red. You see the golden cup in front of him? He's holding up the same solarized disc, placing it up above his head, as if he's allowing the sun rays to hit it, to bring it and cause it to metamorphosize, is what they call transubstantiation, where this wafer actually becomes the flesh of their Christ. And this grape juice in here transubstantiate into the actual physical blood of Christ. This is nowhere in scripture, but this is what these people do because they're doing witchcraft. You see the image of the beast back there that people love so well? They call it the cross. This is pagan. This goes all the way back to Babylon. That image right there that everybody worships, this is the image of the beast. And people don't see it. It's right in your face. It's been with us the whole time, and people are thinking it's coming later. This happened soon after the Messiah left. This is why the Apostle Shaul says that the work of lawlessness is already at work. In 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, it was already at work in his time. The woman was dressed in purple. I just showed you that. Scarlet. I just showed you that. In red. Adorned with gold. I just showed you that. Precious stones and pearls, holding in her hand a golden cup, just showed you that, filled with the abominations of the filthiness of her whoring. This woman is the mother church, also known as the Roman Catholic Church. But notice what it says down here in verse 5. It says that she is the mother of whores. So if she's the mother, then who's the whores? I'm glad you asked. Let me show you. This is her daughters. Here's the mother up here, Catholic Christianity, and here's all of her daughters, also known as the whores. All your Protestant movement, your Orthodox Catholicism, your Russian Orthodox, your Greek Orthodox, all of that, they're all her daughters. They all come from the Catholic Church. All the denominations of Christianity are the daughters of the mother whore. And all of that is going to be destroyed here very soon. This is what it says here about this woman at the end of chapter 17. I just read it earlier, and we're going to put the stamp on it again. And the 10 horns that you saw on the beast, these shall hate the whore, these shall hate Christianity, and they will lay her waste and naked and eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For who does this? For our Creator, our Mighty One, did give it into their hearts to do his mind, that is his will, his desire, to be of one mind, and to give their reign, their authority to the beast, that's the false Messiah, until the words of Elohim, until the words of our Creator shall be accomplished. So what are they going to do to Christianity? They're going to destroy it. They're going to hate that whore, the mother of all the whores. She's the original whore. in this one. This is why she's called Babylon, because the teachings of the Catholic Church has its inception in the religion of Nimrod. This is where you get the Trinitarian doctrine from, Trinity. Nimrod, Semiramis, and Tammuz. This is where the Egyptians got it from. Isis, Horus, and Osiris. And this is where the Catholics get it from. The Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. This is where they get the Madonna from. The Mother Mary holding her infant child. That's Semiramis holding her infant son, Tammuz. Nothing new under the heavens. Nothing new under the sun. All of this. This is the names of the many names, that is the blasphemies that is written upon her forehead. Upon her forehead, a name written, a secret, Babel the Great, Babylon the Great, the mother of whores, harlots, and of the abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the set apart ones. That's the saints. When did this woman drink the blood of the saints? It's called the Catholic Inquisition. There was many of them, and it's still going on to this day. Anybody who doesn't come under the correction and the instruction and of their papal authority, they use the United Snakes of America military arm to go after them. This is why every sitting president, don't watch President Trump over here talking bad about the Pope that's now there. This is all for your show. They're showing you all of this in your face. The whole time they are all in cahoots together. President Trump would not have his authority unless the Vatican gave him the authority. And the Vatican wouldn't have its authority unless these so-called Jews gave them its authority. This is why those who are, and we're going to go into another little side note here. This is why these people, let me write this down. This is why these people run everything. Does anybody know what this means? It's a compound word. I believe it's German. It's a compound word. What does it mean? Anyone? I know somebody knows. There you go. I know Nazareth knew. The two words here is red shield. Red shield. Who has red shields? Who had red shields? Nope, this is not their original name. They took the name because it has meaning for them. That's right. So let me show you this. Let me see here. And I don't think they're going to show it here. They've been scrubbing a lot of this stuff off the internet because people are starting to catch on to them. But let me see if I can. Give me a second here. For those of you who are history buffs, you ever heard about how Switzerland, not one bullet from 2 world wars ever landed in Switzerland? Switzerland is where people who are doing things up to no good, as they would say, they would put their money in Swiss bank accounts. Why did they put it in Switzerland? Because Switzerland was the sitting place of the Rothschilds. And what did they do there in in Switzerland? They created their headquarters. To this very day, it's still there. You may know it as Geneva, Switzerland. This is where you find the big old Hadron Collider known as CERN. Okay? The 666 CERN Hadron Collider there. Right? Yep, exactly, JSO. They're supposed to be a neutral country, right? Let me show you what it looks like on the map. Let me show you where Switzerland is. I wish they would give me a better one, but nonetheless, here's Switzerland, okay? There's your Geneva, that's in Switzerland. Just south of Switzerland, you have the country also known as Italy. Here's the so-called fake eternal city that they call Rome. And Vatican is smack in the middle of Rome, okay? There it is right there. Yeah? This would be St. Peter's Basilica. This here is the facing of what they call St. Peter's Square. This is where they have the obelisk sitting right smack dab in the middle of their pantheon. Okay? This is the obelisk right here. Okay? See it right there? Egyptian obelisk. They got it from Egypt. Where did Egypt get it from? They got it from Babylon. I mean, this stuff is crazy. When you start to put this stuff together, you start to see how the satanic the satanic system works. All right? So Rome got its power from these people. These are the original Knight Templars. The Knight Templars also used this symbol, the red shield. I'm telling you, this stuff is crazy. When you go into these rabbit holes, you're going to get into some real serious stuff, right? And some of it can get you in trouble. I'm not even going to lie to you. Some of it will get you in trouble. Knights Templar. You see all these peoples? You see all these red crosses? This is all part of the red shield. They put it on their shields. What did Constantine say that he had this dream, this vision? He said that he was shown in the sky, by this sign you shall conquer. And the cross became universal for Christianity because the Romans at that point became the Holy Roman Empire. The church and state became one. And so now they want you to believe that the United States of America separates church and state. No, they don't. I'll give you proof. Every time somebody goes up to try to become a president, what do the masses of the so-called American Christians want to know? Is he a Christian or not? Even fake Obama, who was a Muslim, who claimed to be a Christian, was actually a Muslim. Okay? Oh, he's got my vote because he's a Christian. President Bush, This man don't probably never even opened up a Bible except for when he has to go to a funeral or an Easter service. Yep, I'm a Christian. These people have been in our face the whole time, but you got to know what you're looking for. You got to understand how these people have played with our books and have lied to us. And this is why Yahuwah says, when we seek him with all of our heart and with all of our mind and with all of our strength, then we shall find him. He says that when we ask him for this information, he is going to reveal it to us. But we, his people, we got to search the matter out. That's what kings do. We're to search these things out. Okay, so sacred ENL. Great question. But I need you to think outside the box for a minute. You're trying to say, well, why does the name Jesus work? Let me show you something in scripture. This is how Satan plays with us, you see, because what did the Pharisees and Sadducees want? They wanted a sign. They wanted to know if it's true. Show us a sign if you're the Messiah. He says, no sign shall be given except for the sign of Jonah. As Jonah was in the belly of the well for 3 days and 3 nights, so shall the son of Adam be in the belly of the earth for 3 days and 3 nights. But I want to show you something in Matthew chapter 7. He helps you, ENL, because he knows you're getting ready to get this understanding. He knows the end from the beginning of your life. He knows that there's going to become a day, and hopefully it is today, that your eyes will be open to this truth. And he said, this is why I answered you in that name. But now you know my real name. Start using it. Keep it, because you're one of his. I hope you're one of his, ENL. But I want to show you something here. This is what happens when people stay stuck in their traditions. This is Matthew chapter 7, verse 21. Not everyone who says to me, Master, Master, your translation will say L-O-R-D, L-O-R-D, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven. But he who is doing, notice what I have underlined there. That's an action word, to do the will or desire of my Father in the Shamaim in the heavens. Check this out. Many shall say to me in that day, ENL, but Master, Master, have we not prophesied in your name? What name do you think that is? You think it's Yahusha, or do you think that's Jesus that they're going to be saying? It's going to be Jesus. And we have cast out demons in your name. Again, Jesus. And done many mighty works in your name. Remember what I showed you in John chapter 5, verse 43. He says, I come in my Father's name and you do not accept me. But if another comes in his name, in his own name, you will accept him. He says, and then I shall declare to them, those who have been calling on this other name that they thought was his name, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who work not iniquity. That's what it says in your King James, New King James, ESV, your NLT, all the other translations. They removed the word lawlessness. You know why? Because the agenda is for you to not know that you're supposed to follow the law. They want you to believe that the law has been done away with. But the Messiah is telling you, if you don't keep the law, you are through. He doesn't know you. He says, depart from me. I never knew you. You who work lawlessness. What is lawlessness? To be without Torah. Torahlessness. This is why he said what he said in Matthew chapter 5. He says, do not think that I came to destroy the law, the Torah. That is the law. Or the prophets. That's Genesis to Malachi. Genesis to Malachi and everything in between. He says, I did not come to destroy, but to complete, or to say fulfill. You see, if the law was done away with, it would have been destroyed. If the law was nullified, it would have been destroyed. If the law was no longer and it was nailed to the cross, then it was destroyed. But he says he did not come to destroy, but to fulfill it. He had a mission to do. And so do we. So he says, for truly I say to you, ENL, till heaven and earth passes away, one yod and one tittle shall by no means pass from the law to all be done. Is heaven still there? Is it above your head? Yes, it is, ENL. Are you still on this earth? Yes, you are, ENL. Then that means the law is still in effect. He goes on even further and to tell us, whoever then breaks one of the least of these commandments and teaches men so. This is exactly what Christianity does. They teach men to break the law by not keeping it. They shall be called the least in the kingdom of heavens. People see this and they say, well, at least I'm getting in. No, you're not getting in. This is talking about judgment day. But whoever does and teaches them, teaches what? The commandments, the Torah and the prophets. They shall be called great in the kingdom of the heavens. He says, for I say to you, unless your righteousness, how does one get righteousness? By keeping the law. Except your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and Pharisees, your preachers and teachers, you, ENL, shall by no means enter into the kingdom of the heavens. So you ask the question, well, why does things happen when I say things in the name of Jesus? You got to remember, Satan imitates light. He masquerades as an angel of light. 2 Corinthians, I believe, chapter 12. What does he say there? Chapter 11. Notice here. Starting at verse 13, for such are the false apostles, deceptive workers, masquerading as apostles of the Messiah. And no wonder, for Satan himself masquerades as a messenger, as an angel of light. It is not surprising then if his servants also masquerade as servants of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. And their works is, ENL, that they don't keep law. But notice what the Messiah says, ENL. Notice what he says in John chapter 14. This they don't teach in Christianity. Just like they don't teach the true name, just like they don't teach what is the true day of the commandments. They want you to be lost because this is what they want. They want all of us. This is what Satan has done. Just like he did in the garden, he's deceiving us. But notice what it says here in chapter 14, verse 15, ENL. Notice this. If you love me, you shall guard my commandments. If you read this in the King James Version, it'll say, if you love me, you shall keep my commandments. What commandments is the Messiah talking about? Well, he didn't give us no new one. And he is the word manifested. He is Genesis to Malachi. Those are his words. Remember I told you I was going to show you in the Ten Commandments that he's going to punish those who have destroyed his name from off the pages of the Bibles. Let me take you there. Before I read this, let me show you how it has been mistranslated in the King James Version. Exodus chapter 20, which is where we find the Ten Commandments, for those of you who don't know. Verse 7 says this. And of course, I don't like saying the Shakespearean language, so I'm just going to speak modern English. You shall not take the name of your, they use this word, this word, in vain. For this word will not hold him guiltless that takes his name in vain. Now let me show you how this word should be written. Because you see, when we see this, we all think it's talking about you're not supposed to say and pronounce the name in an undignified way. Like Jesus Christ. And they'll say, oh, you just take the name of the Lord, your Savior's name, in vain. Or they say, God damn. They say, oh, you just took his name in vain. That's not what he's talking about. If you read this, I guess you would think that. Let me show you what it really means. Verse 7. You do not bring the name of Yahuwah, your mighty one, to naught, or to say to nothing. For Yahuwah does not leave the one unpunished who brings his name to nothing. This is exactly what they did by taking his name out of the BIBLEs. They have taken his name out, supplanted it with this title called LORD, which I showed you, ENL, which literally means Baal. Baal is Satan. So every time that we're saying LORD and we're singing these songs to LORD and to GOD, we're literally praising Satan. Satan wants the worship. This is why he removed the true names. Because if the name is removed, you have no idea of who your father is. We then become bastards. We don't know our father. This is why he says, I have called you even though you do not know me, says the creator of heaven and earth. He is going to reveal himself to his people. And so he is now doing that. He is making great on his promises. He said that he was going to return unto his people a pure language. That is Kadash Lashon, the set apart language. So that we may all call upon his name with one shoulder, which means in agreement together. He even says, he prophesies that he is going to remove the names of the LORDs out of our mouth. Let me take you here. That would be Hosea chapter 3. Look at this. Verse 16. Easy to remember, like John 3:16, Hosea 3:16. And it shall be in that day, declares Yahuwah, YHUH, not WH, Yahuwah, that you call me my husband, that is Aishi, and no longer call me my Baal, Bali. No longer call me my Lord, is what he's saying. You're no longer going to call me that. He says, I will remove the names of the Baals, plural, from her mouth. Who is her? That's you and me. We are the her. We are the bride. And they shall no more be remembered by their name. So not every knee's going to bow and not every tongue's going to confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. That is a misnomer because that's not his name. When we're in the courts of heaven and we see judgment day, every knee that bows is not going to say Jesus. They're going to say Yahusha to the praise of the Father. Yahusha. Because the name Yahusha is a compound word. You probably heard of Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Nisi, Jehovah Rapha. Well, that's actually supposed to be Yahuwah Rapha, Yahuwah Nisi, Yahuwah Yara. You see this here? They Germanized all the names and called it Jehovah. It's not Jehovah, it's Yahuwah. Just like here, Yahuwah Rapha, I am is our healer. That's exactly what this name means. When he came in the flesh, he came as Yahuwah Usha. Contraction, Yahusha. That means I am is salvation. I am is salvation. And so he's going to remove these names out of our mouths. We're not going to say these things anymore. That's right, sacred. He said, before Abraham was, I am. In the Hebrew, that would have came out as Yah. That's why the high priest wanted to take him out right then and there. And it says that the Messiah slipped through them and got out of that synagogue because his time wasn't yet. No, George, Yahusha is not Yiddish, okay? Yahawashai, you're adding so many vowel points that it's ridiculous. If you're here to learn, I can share with you, George, but if you're not here to learn, you continue on with your camp ideologies, okay? It is not Yahawashai, and his name is not Yahweh, it's Yahuwah, okay? Just like the tribe, Yahuda. There is a lot to this stuff, and to try to break it down into this little live session is very difficult. You want to ask questions? I'll be more than happy to answer your question, but don't come here and say his name, Yahusha, is Yiddish, because that is not Yiddish by any means. First of all, they don't even use the vowel points that we use. They use letter E's and O's and I's just like you. We don't use I's. There is no I in Hebrew, in Abrit, in the original. But some people, you just can't teach them nothing because they've already been indoctrinated by camp theology. And they're the same ones that go around talking about only the melanated Hebrew Israelites are going to be saved. And that's nowhere in the book. It says that, in fact, 2/3 of us are going to be destroyed because of our disobedience. 2/3 of Israel. Physical DNA Israel is going to be destroyed. Only 1/3 of us is getting in. The rest of our family, the rest of our kinfolk is not making it. Owen, great to see you here, my Ak from the Philippines. Yes, Diane. So to show you what day we are on the true calendar today, we are on the second Shabbat of the second month. Ashah just made this, so don't think that I'm getting fruitful on you here and think that this is mine.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
This is how it should low. This is how it should be as I show it. You said they glow, and I said this is how they snow. You're very welcome, ENL. And let me tell you this, ENL, because you sound like a person who's really hungry for the truth, and you're searching for the truth. I would truly like to share some extra information with you, and to all of you that are out there that are seeking this truth. Please go to our website. It's ambassadorsofyah.com. You'll see hundreds of hours of teachings on a lot of different things. Okay, go there and look under our link tree, and you'll find where you'll see our library of catalogs of videos of lives, and just pick one and just start going into it. You're going to start getting all kinds of information, and by all means, please check the information. Okay, don't just take in what I'm telling you. I want you to look into it. Even though I'm showing it to you like I showed today, I want you to go and look for yourself. I want you to pull it up on your laptop, your phone, and say, you know what? Let me look at what SUS means, the suffix of Jesus. What does it really mean, Zeus? Look into it. Don't put what does Jesus mean, because it's going to take you right back to what they're telling you through their theology. What Jesus means, Jehovah saves. That's not what Jesus means, because if Jesus means Jehovah saves, then you need to show us where Jesus comes from. How does Jesus, in whatever other language that it comes from, and we know it's Greek, show us from the Greek that literally means that Jehovah saves from the Greek language. And they can't do it, because nowhere in the Greek language do they call who they call Jehovah, Jah. J-E, because there was no J to begin with. So even if they want to say Jehovah saves, they still don't have it. Because I showed you that the suffix at the end of Jesus is paying homage to Zeus. Just like the Hebrews, their names, Yashiyahu, the ending, the suffix of their name is paying homage to the creator of heaven and earth, Yahuwah. Matitiyahu is giving homage to Yahuwah. Yarmiyahu, Jeremiah, giving homage to Yahuwah. Obadiah, you may know him as Obadiah, again paying homage to our creator, Yahuwah. And the list goes on and on. So this is what your calendar should look like. Second month, 9th day of the second month. Okay? And ENL, if you want to reach out to me via email, you can reach me at ambassadorsofyah@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to share some things with you. Do be patient with me because I do have a lot of other ones that I still need to catch up on. And I am a working man. I just don't do, I wish I could do this for a living where I just do this 7 days a week, but I don't. So I can only take the time out of my week on Sabbaths, which is today. And you might say, Sabbath, think that's supposed to be Saturn's Day? No, it's not Saturn's Day. That's another lie that they've all taught us. You got to know the true calendar, and the true calendar is based off of the sun, the sun in the sky. Just like it says in Genesis chapter 1, verse 14, this is why he created the lights in the firmament. They're for times and seasons. They're also for days and years. It is not this Gregorian calendar that has been given to us by the harlot, the mother church called Catholicism. We're all following a Catholic calendar. It's called the Gregorian calendar by Pope Gregory the 13th. He's the one who gave us this calendar that the world is following today. That's the calendar that the whole world, I don't care if you're Buddhist, I don't care if you're Muslim, I don't care what it is that you believe in, the whole world is under the sways of that woman. They've all drunk of her cup. They're all under her calendar. Even Muslims celebrate the New Year. The Buddhists celebrate the Catholic New Year. Look at the next New Year's Eve. You probably can recall it if you go back and you think about when you was watching CNN or if you was watching Fox, and they'll say, oh, look, it just struck midnight in Beijing, China. And they shooting off all kinds of fireworks, right? Tokyo, Japan, shooting off all kinds of fireworks, right? Malaysia shooting off all kinds of fireworks when it hits midnight. Abu Dhabi, oh, they're shooting off fireworks at midnight. This is all from the beast system. We sure will, Cody Victoria. We sure will. In fact, I'll be getting off here after we do the Arab Palal, and it's at the time of the Arab Palal we'll bring your daughter's name into the your daughter-in-law's name into this as well. Desmond, you say, so why do they say the seventh day? So the seventh day, excuse me, I'm over here trying to burp. Oh, there it is. So the seventh day is not the seventh day that man says it's the seventh day. The Creator tells us when the seventh day is. The seventh day, according to the Creator, is 3 days after the spring equinox. That's how you're going to find the true Sabbath every year. If you know when the spring equinox is, and anyone can do this by taking a stick and putting it in the ground and following the shadow of the sun at certain times of the year, specifically speaking on this point, the spring equinox, it usually happens right around March 20th. It doesn't always fall on March 20th, but that's usually right around where it happens, okay? Now, when that happens, 3 days from that day, whatever day March 20th lands, this year it landed on a Friday. 3 days later, Saturday, Sunday, that means Monday is the Sabbath. You may say, well, where's that at? Well, you're going to find it in the Dead Sea Scrolls. These are parchments that wasn't given to us, that was unearthed in 1945 by a Bedouin shepherd boy. And it's because of this information that has come out, along with the book of Enoch, along with the book of Jubilees, and along with the book of Genesis, we're able to compile and put together and know the true calendar. You'll find this also on our website, ambassadorsofyah.com. Please go there and check it out. You'll see it. And let me show you what I'm talking about. So let me go back. So this is our home page, okay? When you go to our home page, this is what it's going to look like. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go here at the top where it says Yahuwah's calendar. Click on that. This is going to show up. Go down. It's going to show you where we are today. This is the date on Yahuwah's calendar. Kadash 2, that means month 2. Yom 9, that's the 9th day of the 2nd month. What day of the week? Yom 7, that's the 7th day. Today is Shabbat, okay? And then this is the Gregorian equivalent, Monday, April 27, 2026. Now, if you go down, you can see the whole calendar month by month, okay? Here, you just click on this. It opens up. It's interactive. You can blow this up here. You can open this up so you can read everything that's on here. Oh, there we go. All right. Now, this is Kadash 2, or month 2. Let me take you back. Month 1. The first day of the year. Spring equinox, Rosh Kadash, that means head of the month. Okay. Genesis 1:14-19, sun casts a straight shadow line upon the earth. Psalms 19 verse 4, Ecclesiastes 7:10-13, Exodus 12-2. It landed on the 20th of March this year. Happened to fall on a Friday. 3 days later, Sabbath. Okay. Again, we're in the 2nd month. 2nd Sabbath of the month. 27th of April. The 9th day of the 2nd month. So all the stuff that we've been taught, and the only reason why we put all this Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all this stuff is because this is what we've been taught, right? But you don't need any of this pagan days and pagan months and all that. We don't need the Januaries to December. If you know the calendar according to the sun, I could put you in a cave and you could be there for 2-3 weeks. If you know how to read the sundial, you'll get back on within 91 days at the most. You'll be back on schedule by following the sun. If you was in there and you're light deprived and you don't know when the sun's coming up, when the sun's going down, and you're stuck in a cave and you have no clue what day, what month, none of that. And you stayed in there for a whole year. And then you come out of that cave, eyes all squinting, you're trying to get all adjusted to the sunlight. And you're like, man, I got to find out where I am on Yahuwah's calendar. You put a stick in the ground, make sure nothing bothers it. Clear an area around where you can get a clear sighting of the sun from the rising on the east to the going down in the west. And you start marking out the shadows from that stick. And you're watching for a straight line shadow. That happens twice a year. The spring equinox and the fall equinox, separated by 6 months. Then we have 2 solstices. We have the summer solstice and we have the winter solstice. Those 4 great signs upon the earth happens every 91 days. Every 91 days. When you know those points, those 4 points, the equinoxes and the solstices, it tells you where you are on Yahuwah's calendar. Knowing that 3 days from those 4 great signs is going to be the Sabbath. Let me show you what I'm saying. Let me take the same calendar again. Okay. If you know how to find The equinoxes and the solstices, you're going to be able to get back on Q with the months and the days of the week. So here on this calendar bead that I have here in front of me, you'll see up here at the top, there's these 3 separator beads and that's to separate the seasons, okay? 4 seasons in a year. What you're going to find here at the bottom, every 3 months, on this one, every gold bead is a Sabbath. This would be the spring equinox. 3 days later, your first Sabbath. We get to the summer solstice. This is the summer solstice right here, the first day of the 4th month. 3 days later, your Sabbath. We get to the fall equinox. That's it right there. The first day of the 7th month. 3 days later, your first Sabbath. We come to the winter solstice. 3 days later, this is the 10th month. 3 days later, you have your Sabbath. This is the genius of our Creator's calendar, that no matter where you live on the earth, you're able to do this. This is why he gave us the sun, moon, and the stars, but particularly the sun. We know this because in the book of Jubilees, he tells us outright, as he told Masha, you know him as Moses, Jubilees chapter 2, verse 9, he says this. We're getting close to the time of the Arab Palah, that is the evening prayer. Jubilees chapter 2, verse 9, it says this. In fact, we'll read 8 and 9, so you get a great understanding of what we're reading here. Moses, who wrote Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers, and Deuteronomy, he's the same one who wrote the book of Jubilees. This was considered canon with the early believers. They're not canon now because they don't want us to know this true calendar information. It says, and on the 4th day, he, that is Yahuwah, created the sun, moon, and stars, and set them in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon all the arats on the earth, and to rule over the day and the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. Now check out verse 9. And Alua Elohim, the mighty of mighty ones, appointed the sun, not the moon. There's so many people who think that they're so smart, who think that they're going to follow the Jewish calendar, who think that they know what they're talking about, who think because they have a translation that says new moon, new moon, new moon, they don't even check the information and they're following the moon. And so you got all these lunatics that are following the moon, waiting for this sliver that you don't find nowhere in scripture from Genesis to Revelation or any of the apocryphas that tell you to look at the sighting of the new moon by a sliver in the western horizon to say that that's the first day of the first month or the first day of another month. You won't find that anywhere in scripture. And yet they're teaching it to everybody. Where did that doctrine come from? It came from Babylon. But nonetheless, and the mighty one appointed the sun. Notice he didn't say the moon. Notice he didn't say the stars, but the sun only, to be a great sign on the earth. For what? For days. The sun is for days. The sun is how you're going to find your Sabbath. The sun is how you're going to know your months. The sun is how you're going to know your feast days, the holidays that are in Leviticus chapter 23. The sun is how you're going to know how when your year begins and when your year ends. The sun is how you're going to know when 7 years have begun and the next 7 years begin, what we call a Shemitah. And the sun is the one that gives you your Yobalim or your Jubilee count. That is a 50-year count. And for all the seasons of the years, it's the sun who dictates when it's spring. It's the sun that dictates when it's summer. It's the sun that dictates when it's fall or winter, not the moon. So knowing this information, we know we have the true calendar besides what we find in the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Dead Sea Scrolls, along with the book of Jubilee that they found in these caves, they found the book of Jubilee, they found the book of Enoch, they found the scroll, how do they say it? The temple scroll, the war scroll, and a lot of these other scrolls. But one of the scrolls, a few of the scrolls that we've been given, let me show you. It says this. This is 4Q400 fragment, okay? To the master, Song of the Holocaust, The word Holocaust means a divine offering. Okay, it's an offering to Yahuwah. It's not the Holocaust that we've all been accustomed to hearing about, this sacrifice of these people that say that they're a sacrifice. The word, to use the word Holocaust, is saying that they're a sacrifice to the mighty one. But anyways, the song of the Holocaust of the first Sabbath. Notice it's talking about the first Sabbath of the year on the fourth of the first month. It's telling you when the first Sabbath is. It's on the fourth day of the first month. And I just showed you that on our calendar bead and also our calendar PDF. The first Sabbath of the first month is on the fourth day. Each bead is a day. It's the fourth day of the first month. Fourth day of the first month. This is straight out of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay? On the fourth day in the week, the sons of Gamul in the first month of the first year. This is talking about the Sabbath. Okay? It's about that time to pull off. But if you used to go through all of this, you get all this information. Here's another one I put here. Seems to be a quote from Yobalim chapter 2:9. The days and the Sabbaths and the month for years and for sabbatical years or 7 years and for jubilees. This sounds like exactly what I just read for you in Jubilees chapter 2 verse 9 that was cut off. And then it says on the fourth day of the week, the fourth day of the week, the sons of Gamul. So what happens on the fourth day of the week? That's the first Shabbat. Gamul and his sons would have to do temple, what do you call it? Temple chores. Temple chores. You may say, what are you talking about, temple chores? I'm talking about going and getting water for the labors, going and getting sticks and wood for the altar. They would be the ones cleaning the utensils. Okay. Those who weren't part of the Leviticus priesthood, the 12 tribes still had parts to do with the officiating before the temple. And so every week there would be 2 from each tribe. They would come and they have to do stuff that the Levitical priesthood says, hey, go fetch water. Hey, go get some wood. Go get this. Oh, hey, go clean this. And they were there to service the Levitical priesthood. So this is some more information for those of you who want to look into the deeper things of Scripture. Very, very important information. But again, you're going to find a lot of translations where they put in their own understanding. Even in the Dead Sea Scrolls, this guy here, Giza Vermes, he puts his own spin on stuff, and you'll see it here. Let me show you. Look how he puts this here. He puts this calendar here, but then he adds this pagan confusion that I put here. He puts Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then he tries to say the first month of the first year in a 6-year cycle. So here, notice that they hear the fourth day is the first day of the year, so they automatically assume it's going to be a Wednesday according to the Gregorian calendar. Again, you cannot use the Gregorian calendar when it comes to the first day of the spring equinox. When the spring equinox happens, it doesn't matter what day that sun lands on that spring equinox. Whatever that pagan day is, that is the first day of the year. You don't wait till the next Wednesday to come around, which there's people that are doing that. They'll say, oh man, the spring equinox just happened on a Thursday. Well, we got to wait till the next Wednesday to start our count so we can always have a Saturday Sabbath, because that's what they want. They want to keep it to where they're always having a Saturday Sabbath. That is not scriptural. Saturday has nothing to do with the Sabbath. Saturn's day has to do with the 6-pointed star. It's called Saturnalia, also known as the Star of Ramphan. This is why these Jewish people make sure that their Saturn's day, their Sabbath day, always fall on a Saturn's day, because Saturn is equated to that 6-pointed star that they call the Star of David. David don't have no star, but they say it's a star to David. So this mess causes confusion. That's why I put this here for myself to show you guys. This is why you can't use none of this, because whatever day that first day is when the spring equinox happens, that is the day. You don't wait on it and say, well, it landed on a Thursday, so we got to wait so we can make sure that the first day of the year and the first day of the month lands on a Wednesday, and then you start your count to go to your Sabbath. You can't do that. There is no instructions for that. No instructions for that. All right. So let us pull all. It is that time, and I'm going to get ready to get off here. All right. And Cody Victoria, we're going to pull off for your daughter-in-law as well. I also want to pull off for our Cody Grace, her, who is it here? Your son-in-law who went to the hospital. We want to pull off for his recovery. All right. All right, let us pull off. Heavenly Abba Yahuwah, we come before you in the mighty name of your Bane, the mighty name of your Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, giving you all praise, honor, and esteem, O Abba, for all that you have done in each one of our lives, and you continue to do so, O Abba. Abba, we thank you for opening our eyes to your truth, and for those who are new to this understanding, may you continue to open up their eyes, that you will reveal yourself to them, so that they too may come into this truth and be saved. Abba, you told us to come out of her, to come out of the doctrines and the wicked commandments of men that has caused and sowed confusion in each one of our minds, O Abba. Do not deal with us according to our wicked ways. Do not deal with us according to those things that we have inherited, the false inheritance of all the lies from our forefathers. Just as we read in the Old Testament, we have inherited nothing but lies, O Abba. Please have mercy upon each and every last one of us. We ask that you help us to expose the transgressions in our life so that we will change our walk, and that we will walk in the newness of life, and that we will walk in the light and not in the darkness. Help us to continue to keep your commandments, your instructions that you have given not only to us, but to our forefathers that came before us, O Abba. For you have shared and you have told us that you would once again return us to follow and search out the commandments and the ordinances that have been put to the side by our ancestors, and that we once again will pick it up and we will look into these things, and knowledge will increase, as you have told Daniel in chapter 12, verse 4 of the scroll that you gave him. Abba, we continue to pull off for our friends and our family. We pull off, O Abba, for our Akudi Victoria's daughter-in-law. We ask, O Abba, that you would help her as they induce the labor. Abba, we ask that you would put your hand upon the physicians and those who are going to be the midterm wives and all of those that are around her, O Abba. May everything go according to your will and your desire. And for our Kuti Grace and her son-in-law, may he be recovering, and that you would help his recovery be speedily fast, O Abba. These things we ask in the mighty name of your Ben Yahushua HaMashiach. And we continue to pull off for each and every last one of us, O Abba, who continue to seek you, who continue to seek your face and call upon your beautiful name. Do not deal with us according to our ways, but according to your kindness, for your name's sake, O Abba. All these things we ask as we continue to walk in your word until the next time we meet together again. May you barak each and every person who is hearing my voice right now. May you barak them and may you keep them. May you allow the countenance of your light to shine upon each and every last one of them, O Abba, according to your will and desire and purpose. All these things we ask and bring before you, before your heavenly throne, before all the heavenly host, in the mighty name of your Ben Yahushua HaMashiach. Hallelujah, hallelujah, and hallelujah. Amat. Rumamu Yahuwah. Hallelujah. All right, Mishpachah. So I'm about to get off of here. I want to thank each and every last one of you who came. And again, for those of you who are new, please go to our website to get more information, to know what we're all about. Again, you'll find a lot of study material there. You'll find a lot of teachings there. You'll find a lot of videos there. You'll find the calendar there. You'll find our shop to get some merchandise. If you'd like to get some stuff with Yahuwah and Yahusha on shirts, we have two people that make beautiful shirts, customized shirts, of course, at a cost. We also have calendar beads that are available at cost. We also have, what else? I'm trying to think of what else we have. I think that might be pretty much it. But again, if any of you want to reach me, do be patient with me. And you can always reach me at ambassadorsofyah@gmail.com. And we'll go from there. Until next time, Yahuwah Barak each and every last one of you. May he continue to use you for his purpose, for his name's sake, and for everything that he does with each and every last one of us. May we give him all praise, honor, and esteem. May we make him proud. May we continue to pray for one another. The days are getting short, Mishpachah. And if this should be the last time that I'm on these airwaves, I will see you when his kingdom comes. Stay strong. Don't give in. And don't take the mark. Ahaba Atah. I love you all, Mishpachah. My name is Og Jimmy, also known as Brother Jimmy, and we are ambassadors of YAH. Shalom, Mishpachah. Shabbat Shalom.
Straight out of the book, the scriptures. Verses sharper than fishing hooks, snagging souls, taking tolls, leaving devils shook. Who we be? Messengers, truth bringers, that's the key. Unlocking minds in darkness and debris. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YAH. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YAH. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YAH. Listen close, hear us, yeah. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YAH. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YAH. Listen close, hear us, yeah. Verses be thumping, shofars be blowing, beat be steady. Word power every hour, truth already. Planted deep secrets keep bulls unsteady. We elevate so your faith be ready. No compromise. Open your eyes, see the light. Walk tall, stand strong with all your might. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YAH. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YAH. Listen close, hear us, yeah. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YAH. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YAH. Listen close, hear us, yeah.
For those of you who are doing fast with me tomorrow, it will be here on YouTube. 8 o'clock Pacific, 9 in the morning Mountain, 10 Central, 11 Eastern.
Open your eyes, see the light. Walk tall, stand strong with all your might. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YAH. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of YAH.